No clue. Computers is going bonkers. What's up, everybody?
Technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot,
Mom, Steven, Alex, Sam, Anthony, and others starting to filter in. All right, here we go.
Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Now, Schumer is just stepping to the podium, and he's going to say some stuff. We're not going to carry it for you, but I will, I guess, imitate what Schumer is going to say. That's about it. That's Schumer. He's just going to come up there. He's going to butt vomit all over the television. He's going to say some lies. He's going to say some things, and that's it. We're going to move on with our lives and our week. So, again, it is officially now impeachment is over into the Senate side of things. Senators have been lining up, being sworn in by the Chief Justice, and they've been signing that document because apparently you have to be sworn in for this in addition to already have been sworn into office. I don't know all of the nuances of all of this stuff, but that's where we're at. Also, the media is telling you there's a bunch of new information, and by new information means things that we knew back in early November. So, not new at all. No new developments whatsoever. They're just pretending that it's new. It is not. We'll go over all of that. There's a lot of stuff that we will cover today. CNN has canceled an interview with the vice president over this. Also, I will take a quiz on which of the 2020 Democrats agrees with me the most. Ooh, what?
I gotta take this too with you.
You want to take it with me?
Yeah. Is it what is it?
I'll send you the link. I don't know if you're going to be able to. It's behind a paywall. But I will send you. I'll send you the link to see if you can get it. Okay. I have my black magic ways of defeating paywalls. But I will send it to you nonetheless. Just we'll do it during the commercial break. But I thought it would be kind of funny to do that. To have people kind of guess which candidate they think. Wouldn't it be funny if it was Pete, though?
It would be funny.
That would be really funny.
Really disappointing and funny all at the same time.
Yeah, that would be good stuff. But we'll have people guess which of the candidates agrees with me the most, and then I will take the quiz. And I'll try and burn through it as quick as I can, because I think they added 11 questions to it. Like, they had 20 questions, and then they added 11. So we'll have to burn through them pretty darn quick. But that'll be interesting, fun little thing to do later on today. Probably in the 4 o'clock hour we do that. But I want to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company. Again, locations in Warsaw, South Bend as well. R&B Car Company has an amazing selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, vans, crossovers, you name it. I've even seen some motorcycles over there on occasion. Go to rbcarcompany.com, rbcarcompany.com for today's promos and special offers. All right, here we go. GOP senators have now said that, well, at least one of them has said that the Democrats who are running for president have got to recuse themselves from the impeachment trial. Now, that should be a given, okay? It should be a given. Keep in mind, this entire thing is predicated on the idea that the president was doing something that could potentially damage a potential political opponent. Yes, potentially damage a potential political opponent. I got that right. And so you can't participate in an impeachment trial if you yourself are running against the guy you're trying to remove from office. You can't obviously conflict there. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee says that her Democratic colleagues running for the White House in 2020 must recuse themselves from the impeachment process against President Donald Trump, saying that their presidential ambitions prohibit their ability to view this trial through an objective lens. Tomorrow, 100 United States senators will be sworn in to serve in the impeachment trial for President Donald Trump. That happened today. So anyway, she was writing this in a statement. 4 of those senators must recuse themselves for their unparalleled political interest in seeing this president removed from office. And again, that's a given, right? It's an absolute given. Everybody knows that. Nancy Pelosi, when she was making the case for all of this, by the way, it was funny. I walked into the building today. Coworker goes, "Hey, did you get your commemorative impeachment pen?" How much money do you think we spend on commemorative pens? People often ask me what the first thing I would do when I was president would be. And there's a part of me that wants to say it would be something important. And then I hear about the stupid commemorative pens every time we sign a document. And there's a good chunk of me be like, can we just go to the dollar store and pick up some pens, please? It doesn't even have to. If we're going to do commemorative pens, let's just do dollar store pens, right? If we're going to actually just have a pen, because I like nice pens. I think most guys like nice pens. I'm sure you ladies like nice pens as well. You just have the one pen, and you just sign it, and that's his pen. It's the one that stays on his desk. You don't need souvenirs for this crap, but of course everybody needs souvenirs because I guess everybody's got the eBay retirement backup plan. Pelosi pulls a Schiff, deliberately misquotes Trump-Zelensky call on the House floor. This is Matt Margolis, with Nancy Pelosi sending off the articles of impeachment to the Senate today. This is obviously yesterday. She couldn't help herself but follow Adam Schiff's example and fabricating a key line in the Trump-Zelensky phone call transcript. Quote, "Do me a favor," Pelosi said, was part of Trump's request to the Ukrainian president. "Do me a favor," Pelosi mocked. "Do you paint houses too? What is this? Do me a favor," she said. Well, he never said that. So she's out there, she's saying, "Do me a favor." She's quoting Trump now, "Do me a favor," and then she stops to highlight that Trump said it and mocked it. And then she made a joke about it, but he never said it. So here's Pelosi, just like Adam Schiff, completely lying about all of this. And you got all these Democrats running around today going, "Oh, the Senate Republicans are just doing everything they can. They don't want to hear any documents. They don't want to see any evidence. They don't want to hear from any witnesses." That's not their job. Their job is to determine whether or not you all arrived at the right conclusion. The House of Representatives carries that stuff out. The House of Representatives does the witnesses, which they denied to the Republican side and the president. Okay, so they did not allow witnesses. The House of Representatives is responsible for presenting documentary evidence, which they did not allow to be presented. That's them. All right, so the Senate can call additional witnesses, obviously, especially if they have questions about some testimony or if they have something that rebuffs testimony that they heard in the House. But their job isn't to do what the House's job was. The House should not need any additional evidence. If there was enough evidence in the House of Representatives for the President of the United States to be impeached with a House vote, there needs not be any additional information. That's the whole point. If the House of Representatives' position is, and I should say just the Democrats in the House, if their position is, we have to introduce more evidence during the Senate trial, that means you didn't prove your case and you never should have voted for impeachment and sent it to the Senate to begin with, which means you're already violating the whole spirit of this thing. But it is what it is. I know that most of you are well aware of that. Now, because of impeachment, CNN has nixed an interview between Vice President Mike Pence and Wolf Blitzer over Israel. And the reason that they got rid of this thing and they killed this interview was they were citing impeachment. In a time when violent anti-Semitism is on the rise, CNN has refused an interview with Vice President Mike Pence. By the way, I know that I was gone on vacation. There was 5 or 6 attacks on Jewish people by either Muslim or members of the black community in and around New York or various areas around there. One of them got attention because it had to, as a shooting. Why was it that the youth crowds that were targeting Jewish people in New York and beating them up, why was that not a bigger news story across the country? I thought anytime anybody said anything remotely bad about a Jewish person, that was supposed to be covered, nonstop on all of the networks. Unless, of course, the narrative can't be shifted to be a Republican Trump supporter did it, right? So anyway, in a time when violent anti-Semitism is on the rise, CNN has refused an interview with Vice President Mike Pence in Jerusalem to mark the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. The network cited all impeachment all of the time, according to the sources. So they're going to go all impeachment all of the time. They're not going to stop and take 5 minutes on the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. CNN's not going to do that. Kind of a momentous occasion, don't you think? White House offered Wolf Blitzer an exclusive interview with Pence at the World Holocaust Forum next Thursday. And the Situation Room host enthusiastically agreed, but CNN boss Jeff Zucker, who banned Blitzer from leaving the country because of the president's impeachment trial in the Senate. Blitzer's paternal grandparents were killed in the Holocaust, and his parents were survivors. So Wolf Blitzer was the perfect person to do this interview. And Jeff Zucker, who we all have on tape now talking about how they're going to go all in on getting rid of Trump, he's not allowing Wolf Blitzer to do that. Because, again, it's going to paint the Trump administration and Vice President Pence in a positive light. You cannot possibly have that. So we're just going to go ahead and nix the interview altogether. You know, they're just Jewish people after all. What does it matter? We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather
The
station.
Washington Post quiz, 20 questions long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get to it.
Cool. Oh my God. Whew.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Temperatures fall from 32 degrees today with daytime highs topping out here.
So many things. So many things. I could do 6 hours today. I mean, I don't have the energy to do 6 hours, but I could. Content-wise, easy. It was a little uncomfortable today, temperature-wise.
Did you get a smart speaker for Christmas? If you did, remember, you can listen to 95.3 MNC.
Just ask Alexa to enable the 95.3 MNC skill and hear us on your Amazon Echo.
Michiana's news channel is also on Google Home when you tell it to play 95.3 MNC.
Your top local stories, traffic, and weather, first thing mornings, and the #1 talk show lineup.
Cool.
Louie, Rush, Casey, and Sean. On demand with just the sound of your voice.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I'll be with you in just a minute, folks. Hold on a second.
Remember when you brought your car into that big dealership and found out it would cost a lot to get it repaired? So you brought it into an independent shop and learned you could save some money. Second opinions can save you money in retirement too. Have you taken your retirement plan to an independent advisor for a second opinion? Howard Bailey has helped over 1,000 families craft their retirement roadmap with meaning and purpose so they can spend more time doing the things they love and less time worrying about their financial security. Call 866-482-9559 now and schedule a complimentary visit with our independent team at Howard Bailey. Take control of your financial future. Don't let hidden fees and unnecessary taxes affect your retirement. Call the Howard Bailey team at 866-482-9559 and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. That's 866-482-9559.
Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results.
We've seen enough far too long. America has been turned inside out. Red versus blue, left versus right. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. So what can we all agree on? Send money to buy this right.
All right.
R&B car company is proud to be an American company. We buy smart, so you do save money. Look to the future. Find out at RVCarCompany.com.
Foodies from all over are discovering the trip to Napanee from Route 152 Bistro and Brewery to be well worth it. Featuring an open 2-story layout with big city look and feel, but offering small town service, Route 152's eclectic menu features great salads, steaks, seafood, sushi, and an array of cocktails.
Oh, Alex got the holster. Good deal, man. Glad it worked.
Relaxing atmosphere. Route 152 in Napanee is your best choice. Visit RUHE.
Glad it fits good.
Facebook for more information.
Michiana's Morning News is now on Facebook.
Weekday mornings 5 till 9 on 95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Let's see. Nancy should shrivel up and blow away. That's a couple of text messages I'm getting. Casey, all of that violence against Jews, and it's not even Ramadan yet. 3 planks of the Democratic Party are 1, lie, 2, cheat, 3, steal. So that's, I mean, look, the idea that they're proceeding with this thing, violating all of their so-called closely held tenets of moralism is, we all knew it was going to happen, but it's still fairly hysterical. So the senators swore to deliver impartial justice in the impeachment trial, which we know is not going to happen. I mean, they're not going to get the 2/3 to convict. That's certainly not going to happen, but still pretty interesting nonetheless. We also have new information regarding Iran. Of course, we'll continue to cover the impeachment trial. It's just they got sworn in today, and the ones that were supposed to didn't recuse themselves. It is what it is, right? It's a show trial, and we all know it. New video from the New York Times that they say that they have authenticated and looks pretty darned authentic shows not 1, but 2 missiles hitting Flight 752 and killing everybody on board. That is the Ukrainian airline that went down in Tehran. It shows 1 missile firing, hitting the aircraft. The aircraft's still airborne, but obviously in distress, and a second missile hitting it. So we have that. Again, is it an accident if you fire twice? Yeah, maybe. I suppose that is possible if you misidentify where it is coming from or what kind of an aircraft it is. If it's giving off a signature that you think tends to look like an American bomber or what have you. The poll, again, that I put up on Twitter at RealKCH, was it beginning of the week, I guess it was? You all said, I should say the majority of you said that you believe that the Iranians deliberately shot it down to frame the United States. And now, of course, we know that the Iranians shot it down. The Iranians have admitted that they shot it down. They said it was human error when they shot it down. Today, Iran is now saying that we are responsible, not we as in them, but as in the United States is responsible because we launched a cyber attack against them and we shot it down. So they're back to blaming the United States for shooting the aircraft down. Now we've got this video showing 2 of their missiles hitting the aircraft, and of course they are blaming us. Iran has also claimed that it arrested the source of the video. So the first video, which we all had, shows the missile flying up, hitting the airplane, exploding, and then the airplane going down and then exploding on the ground. That's the first video that everybody saw. That's what kind of blew the lid off of this entire thing. Now, Iran claims that they've arrested the person who posted that video. What more evidence do you need that this was intentional? Iranian officials claimed on Wednesday that they had arrested a person believed to have taken video footage of the final moments of Ukrainian International Airlines Flight 752, which appeared to show it aflame before crashing. Now, that would have been after the second missile hit it. And the New York Times video that they posted today matches the videos that we had already. All right. The video challenged Iran's initial explanation for the plane crashing shortly after departing Tehran International Airport. Remember, they said it was mechanical failure, which nobody believed. The plane was too new, had just undergone maintenance. The airline has a perfect record, and there was no mayday, particularly compared to the speculation Iran ultimately admitted to that the Iranian military used a surface-to-air missile to shoot it out of the sky. Now, the sky is, again, largely dark. There's a small speck in the distance. It appears to be the plane. A projectile clearly hits that speck. It creates an explosion, giving the impression that a missile or other weapon targeted it. The video appeared online before Iran admitted to shooting down the plane and after an Iranian preliminary report had blamed a spontaneous engine fire for the deaths. Okay. Now, of course, Iran released that report having not been able to access, so they said, any black box data. So they couldn't access the flight data recorder or the cockpit recorder. The civilian airliner was flying to Kyiv. I don't know how to say that. Last week, when shortly after takeoff, caught fire, ultimately crashed, killed all 172 aboard. So now, the BBC is citing Iranian media, reporting that the Revolutionary Guard, which, again, is designated a terrorist organization, had arrested a person for posting the video of that flight burning in the air and crashing. Fox News then corroborated that report, stating that Iranian outlets expected the imprisoned person to face national security charges for allegedly filming the video. Like I said, what other evidence do you need that this was intentional? Iran lied about it from the very beginning. They immediately covered up the crash site. Remember, they cleaned everything out. They bulldozed the site, just like the FBI did to that terrorist training compound in New Mexico, the one with the dead kids in it. They went ahead and refused to turn over the black box data to anybody. Okay. Then they said you couldn't access the black box data because it had been damaged. Then they said they will go back and look at the black box data after they had already released their initial preliminary findings of engine failure, after having already told everybody mechanical failure before they even were at the crash site was the reason for all of this. They denied cleaning up the crash site. Remember, they denied all of that. Would not allow any inspectors to come in and take a look at it. They continuously denied any involvement in shooting it down when the United States came out and said, we've got information and satellite data that shows that they shot this thing down. We actually saw them target the aircraft and fire at it. Iran says that's not true. And then Iran challenged the United States to produce the evidence, which now is being accepted by multiple countries, including the UK and Canada. The Ukrainians actually withdrew their initial assessment that, they took Iran's word for it as mechanical failure. They withdrew that statement and said they now believed that it was shot down. The Ukrainians were also denied access to the site to be able to evaluate whether or not it was a Russian weapon that brought it down, which they have great experience with. So then you had the Iranians saying that the American proof that it was shot down was not real. And they demanded that the United States produce that evidence to prove to everybody that it wasn't manufactured. And then we have this video that comes out, and Iran denies the video's authenticity. So then we ended up finding out that Iran did shoot it down. They admitted to it. They called it human error after all of this that had been going on and all of these denials, okay? Now we find another video which shows that they shot it twice. So now the human error bit is in question, right? And lo and behold, this week, they arrest the person that they think took the video of the airplane aflame after it had been struck by the first missile, and you see it get struck by the second. So now the airplane crashes. They've arrested that person and are expecting to charge that individual with jeopardizing Iranian national security. How? By releasing proof that you are liars? Oh, I haven't even gotten into the protesters and shooting protesters and all that other stuff. Let's see. Canada's CBC broadcaster on Wednesday said that he had received threats for publishing the video. He also insisted that his source had not been arrested and that he had confirmed the source's freedom Wednesday morning after reports of the arrest surfaced. He left open the possibility that Iranian authorities arrested the wrong person for sharing the video. Okay, so a Canadian journalist is saying that his source for the video is still free and is safe as of Wednesday morning, all right? Which just means that Iran is starting to round people up and they're hunting for the individual who released the video. Whether they're free or arrested is irrelevant. The fact that the Iranian government is trying to find them and charging them with crimes for filming an aircraft on fire, which I think in the modern era, I think any of us would probably grab our phones and there's not much we can do. We might as well film this thing and at least have some kind of documentary evidence that could be used by authorities later. or to get clicks on social media, whichever your motivation ends up being, I guess. But they're now hunting people down who they think released this footage. And now we've got additional footage that shows that they shot the aircraft twice. It looks like those of you who said that Iran intentionally shot down the aircraft in order to blame the United States, it looks like you were the ones that were correct, and it was the majority of you, especially since now today Iran is saying, no, the U.S. launched a cyber attack on us, and they're the ones responsible for the aircraft going down. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Imagine if we had the ability to hack all of their surface-to-air missiles and launch them at any aircraft that we wanted. They should just surrender now. What are they going to do?
The judge has struggled to connect with black voters, and there is some concern now that his decision to demote former South Bend Police Chief Darrell Boykins back in 2012 could be a problem.
What?
The AP says sources have been telling him that while some believe he was trying to do the right thing, others believe it ultimately damaged his standing in the black community. The judge has said he demoted Boykins to protect him from possible federal crimes in a tape recording scandal. Some good news for his campaign. He has
Keep in mind, he didn't demote him. He fired him. And then Boykins withdrew his resignation. So...
That's a takeaway from a recent survey by InvestEd, a nonprofit that deals with financial aid literacy and student loans in Indiana. The organization reports nearly 80% of Hoosiers says they're worried about debt college students take on, but still, a vast majority also said they...
Did you see that like 80% of the country would vote for Donald Trump if it meant wiping out their student debt? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Hello, how are you? Hey, FYI, tomorrow I have to leave town at 10 a.m. to go pick up my daughter at Ball State. So I will be back, but not likely until maybe around 7 p.m. Okay. So just an FYI. Like the haircut, man. Okay, soon I got your lanyard, thank you.
Okay.
Took care of it yesterday.
Good deal.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. Don't miss the Ice Festival in Niles this weekend and stop into the Prime Table for a delicious, hot, home-cooked meal before or after you go. Yeah, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Temperatures fall from 32 degrees today with most cloudy and cloudy skies and visibility getting colder. Worst likely high time in 20, tomorrow, cloudy, increase, 30 degrees. Crystal shower from the community. In the ABC 57, first warning from website. I'm your Ross.
Skepticism in the grain trade over the Phase 1 deal signed yesterday pushed the markets lower today. This is
the plane Epsteined itself, huh?
China's comments that they will buy as market conditions dictate. Translation: U.S. prices come down, and that they did today, down 12 cents on March corn, 375.5. May 382.5, 11.5 lower. In July, 11.5.
God dang, I've covered a lot in this first half hour. Jeez.
Down 4.75. In May, also down 4.75. 937.25. July.
Okay, here we go. Caught up.
8 cents lower. March wheat 565.25. Meat markets trade lower as well. February line cattle 126.12 down 47. Dollar lower. February green hog 66.87. I'm Andy Eubank. This is Hoosier.
Well, and the funny thing about this is that everybody who has been fear-mongering over this, who is assuming that Iran is some friggin' superpower or something, is saying that Iran's going to hit us with a huge cyber attack. That's going to happen. And I don't know if they're just fundamentally ignorant of Iranian cyber capability or if they haven't paid attention to what we have done to them. with cybersecurity over the past several years? I don't know. But all of these people are running around and saying that Iran's they're gonna mess us up. They're either gonna hit us with weapons we've never seen before, or they're gonna hit us with this huge cyber attack. And here's Iran going, actually, the Americans can control all of our anti-aircraft weapons with the cyber attack that they just did. It's actually quite funny, but. Here, I'll post the video of the two missiles, so you can watch it if you haven't seen it. There you go.
$5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. The $5,000 a week forever prize is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th, so don't miss your last chance to win. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Hurry, award day is almost here. Go to PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Welcome to Silver Birch of Mishawaka, a different kind of affordable assisted living community. At Silver Birch, we seek to serve those who are most vulnerable, those that are 55 years and older who live on a limited income. Our homes are designed to help you thrive. Individual apartments are move-in ready, including student.
That's a good question. Did they use the campaign funds?
Quality of life. All apartments are private and equipped with modern conveniences such as emergency call devices, handicap accessible bathroom, kitchenette and appliances, and individually controlled heating and cooling. And services can be provided for assistance in activities of daily living, medication reminders and assistance, 3 meals per day, weekly housekeeping and laundry, as well as a wide range of activities. Visit Silver Birch of Mishawaka, where high-quality assisted living is affordable. We work with multiple funding sources such as private pay, Medicaid waiver, and Veterans Aid and Attendance. Call me, Kate, at 574-252-7225 and schedule your tour today.
Hello, I'm Dennis with H&H Gold Buyers in downtown Elkhart, and I want to buy your old gold jewelry, your silver flatware, your silver plate, your gold and silver coins, your platinum and diamonds. You may not realize it, but gold and silver are at a 5-year high. So now is a great time to look through your dresser drawers, your closets, and all those other places you've been keeping things to pass on someday to your children. Because shocking as it may seem to you, they really don't want your old gold, jewelry, or silver to wear or use. And with the money you will receive from your gold, silver, platinum, and diamonds, you can go on a cruise, take a mini vacation, or put them in the bank to save for something special. So why not bring your unworn jewelry, unused items to H&H Gold Buyers and leave with cash in your pocket to spend any way you want. That's H&H Gold Buyers at 221 North Main Street across from McDonald's in beautiful downtown Elkhart.
It's back and bigger than ever. Menards Bag Sale. Get 15% off everything you can fit into the bag. Even sale items. From paint to power tools, batteries to bath faucets. Gloves and more. Just get them in the bag and save 15%. Now, during Menards Bag Sale, save 15% on everything you can fit into the bag, even sale items. Hurry and pick up a bag in each store today. Sale ends January
95.3
Secure your financial future each and every financial advisors Kevin Corwin, Mike Bernard, Josh
Can't get awake today, so I can't get into things. I don't know if I'm coming down with something or what, because I have not felt great the past couple of days.
2019, how should that impact your investment strategy for 2020? That and more Saturday. Listen Saturday at 9 on 95.3 MNC and Wi-Fi radio.
All right, here we go.
From the first step to the final phase.
And commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Did you by any chance notice that Joe Biden doesn't use his son's name anymore? We'll talk about that here in just a second. But first, I got to tell you about R&B Car Company. They are the show sponsor, so go check them out online at rbcarcompany.com for all of their cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, crossovers, you name it. Again, special deals and promotions happening right now. Go to rbcarcompany.com. So Joe Biden is no longer saying Hunter Biden's name. Democrats have been running around for the past couple of days saying that if Republicans do call Hunter Biden as a witness, he's totally irrelevant to the case. No, he's not. He is the case. He is absolutely the case. All of this has to do with the years-long accusation that Hunter Biden was breaking the law in Ukraine. And he and his dad may very well have been breaking U.S. law, according to Ukrainian officials anyway. Now, those officials could be wrong or lying, but the accusation has been made. There should be some kind of an investigation. In the United States and Ukraine have a treaty which requires the other country to help them in the discovery phase of this investigation and cooperate with it. So if Hunter Biden is not relevant, then there is no impeachment. It's really that simple. But anyway, so Joe Biden is now referring to Hunter as my only surviving son. So he's going for the pity card. He's not going to say his son's name anymore. He's just going to say my only surviving son. That's apparently the new spin about this thing. I don't expect it to last very long, but they're doing what they can to go ahead and spin this thing in his favor. But I would fully expect, if it even gets to a point of even needing Hunter Biden's testimony, I fully expect him to be called because, again, this is all big. You still keep in mind, you have members of Ukraine's parliament accusing Joe Biden while he was vice president of taking bribes. So it's something that has to be looked into. And if we have to investigate a presidential candidate because somebody in a bar somewhere told an Australian that he may have done some awful things with a bed, then we have to investigate that. Even if we don't have any actual evidence whatsoever, then surely we must have to do the exact same thing for any additional or future presidential candidate, right? The entire Russian government has resigned. So I guess that's goodish news. Not really. So here's what's been happening in Russia. Vladimir Putin is not a dictator, but he's as close to the line as you can get without actually crossing it. And so Vladimir Putin, who has decided to go ahead and beef up the role of prime minister while reducing the role of president. Now, Putin is president, okay? But a lot of people think that he's going to leave the presidency and then go into be the prime minister, and that he wants to give himself more power when he's prime minister and whoever is president less power so that way they don't have any power over him. That seems to be what he is doing here. On Wednesday morning, Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and the entire government resigned as President Vladimir Putin proposed constitutional changes to potentially extend his rule. Russian President Putin on Wednesday proposed a nationwide vote on sweeping constitutional changes that would shift power from the presidency to parliament and the prime minister, a move that could allow him to extend his rule after leaving the Kremlin, according to Reuters. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people who look at this in our system and go, well, it makes more sense that parliament would have that type of power, but that's not what's happening. Following the news, TASS state news agency reported that Medvedev submitted his resignation to Putin. Russian news agency said Putin thanked him for his service, but added that the prime minister's cabinet failed to fulfill all of the objectives set for it, okay, which every cabinet will. Of course, these are very serious changes to the political system, Putin said during his annual State of the Union address. It would increase the role and significance of the country's parliament, of parliamentary parties, and the independence and responsibility of the prime minister. Okay, that's what Putin is saying now. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, Mr. Medvedev will stay on as prime minister until the new government is formed. Putin said in state television. He also added that Medvedev would be offered the newly created post of deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council. So Medvedev is still going to be serving in government. He's a long-standing government type, too, in Russia. Let's see. Putin appears to be changing the constitution, including shifting powers to the prime minister to allow him to continue to rule Russia after term limit as president is up, according to CNN's Jim Sciutto. And we'll see. But it's pretty interesting. So basically, the whole government has just kind of stepped down on this. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens in Russia, too. So pay attention to all of this. That's, like I said, he's not quite a dictator. He's just pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Don't miss the Ice Festival Miles this weekend and stop into the Prime Table
What
for a
specifically
delicious
about the
home cooked meal before or after you go.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecasts.
Temperatures fall from 32 degrees today with daytime highs topping out near 25. We'll have mostly moderate partly cloudy skies today with some breezy winds making it feel even colder. Now for Friday, the temperatures warm up near 30 degrees with mostly cloudy skies in our forecast. We'll have snow showers moving in late that evening. As all that messy system moves in across the area, we'll see in general 1 to 3 inches of snow for most, but then that will start to melt.
I tell you what, you call back tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the open line, and I can put you through then there. Alright, thanks. You have an impressive read. Do I? He sounded interesting.
Sunday, the best yet. Log on to 953mnc.com or text the word game to 45364 to enter for a chance to win a brand new American made compliments of Furniture Land and valued at nearly $600. Our grand prize winner will also receive a fajita bar for 10. Compliments of Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill in Mishawaka.
Let's see.
To 45364 to enter. Message and catering.
Yeah, Tom Steyer. He just wanted Bernie's autograph. No, Harper's not sick.
It's cool, but what happens when you want to test drive that car first? And what happens if you have a question you want a live local expert to answer? The solution is Lock Money Fastlane online purchase experience from the Lock Money Auto Group. Lock Money Fastlane takes you from shopping to driving 100% online and at your convenience. You view over 700 new and used vehicles, can apply for financing and get instant approval. See your loan terms and monthly payment. Trade your current vehicle and secure your deposit. And simply schedule a time for your vehicle to be delivered to your home or office. Wait, still want to test drive the car first?
They approached you to get Bloomberg on the ballot, huh? That's funny. Why are the tactical gun influencer pages suddenly silent when it comes to the Virginia rally? I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time on Instagram lately, so I don't know. That's a good question. I have to check it out.
Lock Money Auto Group, a tradition of caring since 1954. When those giant scissors come out for a grand opening ceremony, it's the staff that's in the photo. Behind the scenes of any office or industrial build are numerous contractors.
Yeah, no, Harper seems just fine. I don't know. I just have not felt great the past several days. Something's up with my stomach, and I've got like no energy. Got headaches. Not quite sure.
Final Phase Electric has the tools
Not quite sure.
your dreams are reality and can step in at any time to assess your project with a level of unmatched precision that throws guesswork out the window. We believe in positive results through positive people, and we're positive that we can help you with your commercial or industrial project. One call does it all. 574-522-4444. That's 574-522-4444. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. You've got better things to do. Let us hook you up. Find Final Phase Electric on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net.
Shop local, save local. Check out mydealsmichiana.com for incredible offers in your area. Let the good times roll with amazing deals from Chippewa Bowl. Get out of this world with late night blacklight cosmic bowling. Buy one cosmic bowling pass and get one free. A savings of 50%. Or throw a bowling party with the classic pizza pop and pins combo for just $35. A savings of over 40%.
Oh, so
One of the best deals in Michiana at mydealsmichiana.com.
So they just spelled, they just spelled KF differently. I didn't realize that KYIV was actually KIEV.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Impressed.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. So on the Ukrainian thing earlier, we were talking about the plane. I didn't realize they were talking about Kiev. So they spelled it with a K-Y-I-V, which I guess you can do. I didn't realize that. I said a K-I-E-V. I thought it was a different city, hence the not sure how to pronounce it. So there you go. Apologize about that. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. Got to talk to you about Impress Jewelry Creations. So here's the deal. We have a holiday coming up in less than a month, right? This holiday is a day that a lot of you are going to be looking for really nice gifts to showcase your love and affection for your significant other. And if you are looking for a gift to really wow them and maybe even make them feel bad about the sorry little gift that they gave you, go to Impress Jewelry Creations and show them exactly how much they mean to you, whether you are a lady shopping for a guy or a guy shopping for a lady. They've got an amazing selection of jewelry and other pieces over there. Again, some of the finest gemstones that you're ever going to find. Knives, belts for men, money clips, really nice pens. We were talking about nice pens earlier. And of course, for the ladies, those necklaces, whether it's a precious gemstone, you got pearls. He showed me this amazing pearl neck. It was a $175,000 necklace he showed me the other day over at Impress Jewelry Creations. And he went over the process of it was something like 40 years just went into the pearls. 40 years of the actual process of making them. They're natural pearls. They weren't created in a lab. Just phenomenal to hear the stories of how that happens and how difficult it can be. And that's just 40 years for the pearls growing. That doesn't have to do with the generations of oysters that had to be groomed and bred to be the finest ones to produce the best pearls. It's just astounding what goes into some of these pieces. But, really, they've got things for every budget, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're looking to impress somebody on Valentine's Day, go to Impress Jewelry Creations. Of course, make sure you let them know that I sent you. And, for that extra special someone, maybe look at something from their new IJC line, which is all custom, unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that you're not going to find anywhere else in the world. And when you buy it for that unique, special someone, it is a unique, special piece that nobody else is ever going to have. And if you're looking at getting things customized, maybe modernizing a family heirloom or even cleaning, all of that stuff you can do at Impress Jewelry Creations. Again, they got 4 goldsmiths in-house, and they don't have to send that off anywhere. So go to Impress Jewelry Creations. Again, they're located at 1233 University Drive in City Plaza South in Granger. They're right next door to Temper Grill or C. Kramer Interiors. Let them know that I sent you when you go. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. So the CDC has finally released its big report on the vaping situation. By the way, I think a lot of you probably saw, I'll show it up to the camera here. I now vape, so there's that. Now I don't vape for tobacco. I'm trying the CBD vape for pain management to see if that works. The CBD lotion has been phenomenal, but I have some injuries that the lotion is not going to be able to benefit me for. So I'm going to try the CBD vape and see how that goes. A lot of you asked me to report back on how it works. I will. But you kind of do it like you do your pain medicine. So when you're hurting, instead of popping a pill, you go ahead and you vape a little bit. All right. So now, according to the report, sources of cannabis products used by patients with vaping-related lung injuries, 84% said that they have obtained them from informal sources. The study conducted by researchers at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reinforces the point that the problem of potentially hazardous additives or contaminants is especially acute in the black market, where there is no quality control and consumers have no way to verify the contents of the products that they purchase. Exactly. By the way, if you go to a reputable vape shop, you will see all sorts of signs on their e-liquids contains no vitamin E, because that's the issue. The information about THC vape sources, which is based on interviews with 809 patients or their relatives, found that 16% reported acquiring their products from only commercial sources, which there is a thread of skepticism with that. USA Today also reads to mean that they obtain the products from legal dispensaries, but as the CDC notes, commercially obtained products are not necessarily legal products. The CDC's definition of commercial sources, for example, includes pop-up shops, which are not legal in states that license marijuana retailers. So even if somebody is telling the truth and they believe they got it from a legitimate commercial source, it doesn't mean it was legal. So essentially, when you read down, you dive into this. This is me after months of telling you the real problem with all of this vaping stuff was people who are doing the illegal black market thing, and they started having problems because, well, illegal things made on the street tend to not be the healthiest thing for you. I know, you're shocked by that. Anybody who's ever seen street drugs and crack cocaine and all of the various entities of street drugs knows that only the finest and brightest chemists with your health and welfare in mind make those products. And the same goes for the THC stuff. So basically the CDC is essentially saying is that, yeah, all of the illnesses that we had were because people were doing illegal stuff. And even if they thought that they were buying it from a reputable place, they probably were not. And that's if they're telling us the truth because they don't want to get busted, right? So, like I said, I told you, I know that a lot of people out there didn't want to believe it. There's a lot of folks who don't know what they're talking about this in news media. And they were running around and they were spreading this fear about all of this. Governments capitalized on it to go ahead and ban stuff. They raised the smoking and vaping age. We just heard the governor talk about it in his State of the State here this week. You know, they've done everything they can to go ahead and really limit the ability of people to be able to go ahead and get off of smoking cigarettes and to be able to have a healthier lifestyle, all on the premise, I believe, of tax revenue and protecting their political contributors. And the vaping lobby is just not as big as tobacco or the drug companies, just not. So, again, the report is pretty darn clear. This, which we've already had all of these results anyway, it's just the final form of the report. And the study shows that this is THC. It's because of the additives that were in it. And it has nothing to do with over-the-counter stuff, because even the people who said that they only buy from commercial places, even the CDC said, yeah, but those places are probably still not legal. So there you go. Like I posted that I have the CBD vape now that I picked up today, and somebody's like, you only have one set of lungs. I'm like, well, I'm not doing illegal THC on the black market that's been cut with vitamin E, so I guess I'm going to be just fine. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
What?
You still have like a minute.
I have a minute? Oh, jeez. I thought it said 38.
Never mind. It's 58:30. You have like a minute and a half.
I got one more day to go after this too, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then a week. And then another week. And then another week.
I do. I have a whole minute and 15, or well, what, minute 5 seconds now. I looked up and I swear to God, I was thinking I was taking my my quarter-hour break. Anyway, okay, well, whatever. I guess I can keep talking about vaping, or I can not keep talking about vaping. So here's what I'm going to do. You can get into that test?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get prepared to take the test. We got to go quick, though.
Yeah.
Okay? So, because they've added questions to this thing. I've got a test here. It was put together by the Washington Post, so this should be really interesting. Which of the 2020 Democrats agrees with you the most? I'm going to take the test. Joe's going to take the test. And then we are going to figure out, ladies and gentlemen, which of the Democratic candidates agrees with us the most. All right? And we're going to try and do it kind of quick to get through this thing, because they did add additional questions to it. But I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see who of the Democratic candidates has the higher likelihood of being converted to a sane person. We got that coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
It's a big hoax. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's still President Trump's take on his impeachment.
We call it, this is the current hoax. We've gone through the Russian witch hunt. We've gone through a lot of them, from probably before I came down the escalator.
Speaking to reporters at an unrelated event a short time ago after a Senate trial began with a series of formalities. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
With ceremony, the Senate convened as a court of impeachment.
The managers on the part of the House of Representatives are present and ready to present the articles of impeachment.
And lead impeachment manager Adam Schiff and 6 other House Democrats delivered 2 articles of impeachment charging President Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, triggering a Senate trial presided over by Chief Justice John Roberts.
Will all senators now stand or remain standing and raise their right hand?
The Chief Justice administering an oath to senators who then signed an oath book promising to do impartial
Oy vey. I'm having a day, guys. I'm having a day.
Meantime, Jared, the president also telling reporters he doesn't know Lev Parnas, a Rudy Giuliani associate, claims the president knew all about Giuliani's push to investigate the Bidens in Ukraine, and it was only for political gain.
Oh, on the stream, I think you're putting station audio.
I fixed it.
Okay.
Impeachment is totally partisan, and the Senate trial should be done quickly. Democrats continue a push for more witnesses and documents. New records again on Wall Street. The Dow up 267 points, topping 29,200 after the Senate passed the new trade deal. Mexico and Canada. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3 MNC.com. Tom Lee with MNC News Center, and among this afternoon's top stories, 2 South Bend men were honored on Wednesday night for their bravery after jumping into action to help residents during a fire on Miami Street that happened just before Christmas. The Board of Public Safety said Mike Sells and Darnell Johnson didn't know each other but came together to warn residents inside the building. I seen an old man upstairs above the fire, and the fire was spread to his floor, so I yelled up to his fire, get down. Either I'm trying to get everything that I can that I have, I'm not trying to lose them.
So no. Possess and purchase or sell tobacco products or vaping products is now 21.
Firefighters said that because of the fire's location and how quickly.
Why are cigarettes not 21 age limit? They are.
Goshen Schools released a statement after a student allegedly brought a knife to school this week at Goshen High School. Officials say they were tipped off about that knife by another student, and the school's resource officer and administrators handled it immediately. He has since been disciplined for the incident. However, they do.
No, doesn't get you high. Promise. I know. I'm kind of acting like it today, but past several days, man, I don't know. I've just been out of it. I've been in a lot of pain lately too, and so there's a part of me that was just kind of wondering if maybe that was a part of it. So I'm hoping this helps with that. We'll see.
As a community, we wanted to work towards diversifying our economy, and I actually think we've done a pretty good job, but we're not aware of it.
The contest will highlight 50 products made throughout the county and culminate with a public vote this spring. Charles Stutzman, MNC News. Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. Don't miss the Ice Festival in Niles this weekend, and stop into the Prime Table for a delicious home-cooked meal before or after you go.
The only thing worse than buying a sports car or muscle car and not driving the appropriate speed limit is buying a convertible version of it. I mean, you might as well just change genders. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but guy passed him on the highway in a Corvette with the top down wearing a winter hat and mittens. Ooh.
The day's top local news, updated around the clock, plus live streaming audio at 95.3 MNC.
Grown-ass man who buys a muscle car or sports car that is convertible already has something wrong with him. So, not surprised.
Phone calls, meetings, deadlines. It's an endless list, and before you know it, another year.
Are you going through the damn questions?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're supposed to do it together?
Oh, you're just doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do it on the air. Okay, you do that. Okay. You just get your answers. Yeah. At the end, do they have like which candidate do you most agree with?
Well, after like 4 questions, it starts answers agreed with, and then like gives you a list of people who you agree with the most. Like your top 3.
Your celebration and the meaning that it has for
I'm just confused by this question.
Which one?
Current law prohibits the use of federal funding for abortions, except in cases of rape, incest, or when the health of the mother is at risk. Federal funding for abortions should or should not be restricted. So if I click should, does that mean it's just restricted to those cases or not? I'm just confused by how that.
Well, and it's also not true that federal funding doesn't go to that. Well, if you say it should be restricted, it doesn't say eliminated. It says restricted.
So then I know what.
$5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. The $5,000 a week forever prize is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. So don't miss your last chance to win. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Hurry, award day is almost here. Go to PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void or prohibited.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
All right, here we go.
Phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Yeah, I got a question that said, why are cigarettes not 21 to be possessed? And they are now. Remember, that just changed. So the president did that.
At midnight at the beginning of the year.
So that's a new thing. You can add that to the list of things that I disagree with the president on. Not because I think that smoking is a great thing. It's just that if you're an adult at 18, you're an adult at 18. That's just my philosophy. Now, if we're going to start saying that you're an adult at 21, I'm good with that. Just make it everything under 21, you're now a minor. And you're not an adult. You can't live on your own. Can't move out. You can't sign a contract. You can't join the military. You can't be convicted as an adult unless it's a heinous crime with extenuating circumstances. You know, all of that stuff. So that's just where I'm at. It's not because I'm pro-smoking or anything, which I'm obviously not. It's just that we have to have some kind of consistency in our laws for them to even be effective and to make any sense. So I would like to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company. They got a great selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and more. Go to rbcarcompany.com. They got specials and promotions posted on the website right now. Again, rbcarcompany.com. Of course, if you pop into the dealerships, make sure you got several. Make sure you let them know that I sent you over there. Okay, I've got a test here. Which of these 2020 Democrats agrees with you most? Joe's been going through and taking the quiz. The quiz is 20 questions.
I'm currently on question 12.
I'm going to burn through these things, all right? Question 1. We're going to find out who agrees with me the most. Who is the candidate with the highest likelihood to be converted into being sane? You ready? Here we go. By the way, watch the live stream at youtube.com/CaseyTheHost or twitch.tv/CaseyTheHost. Some gun control advocates have called for a federal registry of guns. Federal law blank require gun owners to register every firearm they own. Should or should not? Should not. Federal government should not require a registry. Duh. And then what they do is they give you a list of candidates who agree with you. So Biden, Bloomberg, Buttigieg, Sanders, and Steyer, they say agree with me, which doesn't make any dang sense if you paid attention to anyone's political careers. But I digress. Recreational marijuana should be, be legalized federally, be decriminalized and left up to the states to legalize, or remain illegal federally. Be legalized federally. How about that? I'm going to do that. I go back and forth between that one and the states one, but I do the federal one because of banking. Let's see. Question 3. Fracking has contributed to a boom in U.S. oil and gas production in the past decade, but it can affect the environment through groundwater contamination. No, it can't. And continued reliance on fossil fuels. The U.S. should blank fracking. Ban all, limit, or better regulate or maintain current policy on. Again, that is a dumb selection of answers because limiting or better regulating are two very, very different things. And maintaining current policy doesn't necessarily provide any room for advancement. So I'm just going to say maintain current policy because that's the best of all. None of the candidates agree with me. They all hate fracking. Number 4, all Democratic candidates support increasing income tax on the wealthy because they're dumb. But some are also proposing a tax on the net worth of extremely wealthy individuals rather than just on their income. Should the United States blank enact a wealth tax? Should or should not? Should not. Of course not. That's dumb. You've already been taxed. Anyway, the United States should not enact a wealth tax. Biden, Bloomberg, and Yang apparently agree with me on that. I don't know about the Yang thing. Some Americans currently get their health insurance through federal programs like Medicare and Medicaid. Government-run health insurance blank should cover everyone, should be an option for everyone, should not be available to everyone. Should not be available to everyone. Duh. So government-run health insurance should not be available to everyone. They didn't have an option of shouldn't even exist. You notice that? They didn't even have that option. None of the candidates agree with me. The U.S. blank consider setting a price on carbon emissions, such as with a carbon tax or a cap and trade. The U.S. should or should not consider it. Should not consider it because it's a dumb policy. 2 states allow all individuals to vote from prison. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. 2 states allow people to vote from prison. And many states restrict voting for convicted felons after release. Blank should be able to vote. All prisoners should be able to vote. Some prisoners should be able to vote only after release. All prisoners only after release. Some prisoners. Okay. See, this is a tough one because I think when you serve your time, you serve your time, but some people should never be let out. So I'm just going to say only after release, all prisoners. All right. If they deem you worthy of release, I guess you should be able to vote. Not that your release is justified. Current law prohibits the use of federal funding for abortions. Not exactly. Except in cases of rape, incest, and when the health of the mother is at risk. Federal funding for abortions should or should not be restricted. Federal funding for abortions should be restricted. I wish it were non-existent, but I digress. A universal basic income would give every adult a monthly payment from the federal government. The U.S. should or should not consider a universal basic income. Should not. Because, again, basic fundamental economics and math. Under an employment agreement, every American would be entitled to a government job. Wait, what? Under an employment guarantee, every American would be entitled to a government job if they want it. Can you imagine the crap that they would fabricate and make up to give everybody a government job? And who wouldn't want a government job? Most government jobs pay more than the private sector. Most of them do. Some don't, but most of them do. And you get more time off and you get better benefits. So the U.S. should or should not consider enacting a jobs guarantee. Absolutely should not. I can only imagine the kind of garbage you would come up with as a job that the government would give you. The Obama administration focused its deportation efforts on 3 groups: recent border crossers, convicted criminals, and national security threats. The U.S. should either halt deportations, focus on convicted criminals and threats only, focus on all 3 groups, aim to deport anyone in the country illegally. Duh. Aim to deport anyone in the country illegally. Who else do we have? Nobody agrees with me on that one. Number 12. Health care for many Americans is provided by private insurance plans paid through their employers. In an overhaul of the American healthcare system, private insurance should either be eliminated or continue to exist. Private insurance continues to exist in those socialist countries, too, with universal health care. Not all of them are socialist countries. The socialist programs in those countries, okay? I talk about Canada all the time. Most people don't realize you have to have private insurance in Canada, and the UK, it's beneficial as well. All right, number 13. Again, we're taking a quiz done by the Washington Post on which Democratic candidate agrees with me the most. Number 13. The United States currently requires employers to provide 12 weeks of unpaid family leave, but no paid family leave. The United States should guarantee either more than 12 weeks of paid family leave for workers, 12 weeks, or fewer than 12 weeks. The United States should guarantee. They don't give you the option to say shouldn't guarantee jack squat. So I guess I'm going with fewer than 12 weeks. The government shouldn't do that. Now, if you're a good employer, okay, and you want to retain the best possible talent and you want to be competitive, you'll come up with a plan that helps your employees for this stuff. But the government shouldn't have a say in all of that. All right. In the past year, the U.S. government spent nearly $1 trillion more than it raised. But some argue that urgent policy initiatives should take priority over limiting the national debt. The president should or should not commit to stabilizing or lowering the national debt. Should commit to stabilizing or lowering the national debt. Now, here's what it says. It says, Biden, Bloomberg, Klobuchar, and Steyer agree with me, and yet every single one of them have policy positions that would not do that. Number 15. Got 5 more to go. The Supreme Court has had 9 justices since 1869. The president should or should not consider adding more justices to the Supreme Court to change its ideological balance. Should not. Elections have consequences. It's that simple. They shouldn't be lifetime appointments, but they didn't give me that option. So, president should not consider adding more justices. Can you imagine the fiasco that would turn into? Good Lord. Nuclear power is the nation's largest carbon-neutral energy source, but high-profile accidents and the question of where to store the nuclear waste complicates its future. Not really if you know the issue. The government should either expand, pause the expansion of, or phase out nuclear power. Expand the snot out of it. Only Andrew Yang agrees with me on that. Jeez. The government should make 4 years of college free, debt-free, affordable for all families, including the wealthy. I guess affordable. It's like 3 loser answers. Anyway, number 18. Americans owe a record $1.6 trillion in student debt, with 2 in 10 borrowers behind on their payments, according to the Federal Reserve. Student loan debt should be canceled for everyone, canceled for lower incomes, reduced but not outright canceled, or left alone. Left alone. Sorry. Look, as somebody who recently paid off, I guess it's a year ago now, paid off my student debt, I get it. I really do. But it's on you to not screw up and waste money. All right? If you enter into a high-interest loan, that's on you. It's not on anybody else. All right. In 2016, Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton received more votes than Donald Trump but lost the election. The U.S. should consider or should not consider eliminating the existing electoral college system in favor of the popular vote. Should not consider, because that's horrible. I do have an alternative that would be a happy medium between the two, which is an apportionment of the electoral votes in the state. So if you win 51% of the state, you only get 51% of their electoral votes. You don't get all of them. That's an idea that I have. I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying it's an idea. And the final question. As president, Barack Obama spent years negotiating a free trade pact with countries bordering the Pacific Ocean to counterbalance China's economic might in the region. Hillary Clinton opposed it in 2016, and President Trump withdrew from the agreement. The United States should consider or should not consider joining the latest version of that agreement. Should not consider. We have proven that we don't need that to counteract the China issue. President's already fixed that. Okay, let's see. Who agrees with you the most or the least? Your answers are below, along with whether the candidate agrees or disagrees. So they don't have like one answer here for all of this?
Well, it's like the person at the far left, the person at the left of the graph is the person you agreed with the most.
So technically, I agree with Bloomberg the most.
So do I.
Okay, so which is hysterical because I absolutely hate Bloomberg. Biden next, Gabbard after that. I'm a little surprised. I mean, she's at least up at the top tier. I'm a little surprised that she's that low. Then Steyer, then Klobuchar, then Yang, then Buttigieg, then Sanders, and then Warren. So I only agree with Elizabeth Warren on 3 issues. So there you go. Technically, Bloomberg, who's the guy that sometimes is Republican, sometimes is Democrat, sometimes is moderate, sometimes is communist. Bloomberg is the guy that tends to agree with me the most. The funny thing is like the gun registry question, they have me agreeing with him. But he doesn't think there should be a registry because he thinks they should be banned. Like he doesn't want a registry. He wants them banned. Anyway, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is
everywhere. The top news and issues on Facebook and on Twitter at 95.3 MNC. Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather sponsored by Timetable Kids.
All right, you can go ahead and yourself.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Temperatures going from 32 degrees to St. Louis, starting down here at 25.
Hour 2.
Now, for Friday, the temperatures going up to 30 degrees.
Okay. That was interesting. Well, there is that. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't get the Bloomberg. There's a couple of very, very questionable questions on there. So that link that I posted right there, Roland, that's it. It's in the Washington Post. Take it with a grain of salt, buddy. Casey's results error. I would like to point out there's 20 questions, and the best person only agrees with me half the time. And even then, it's like nuance is still a bit of an issue. So.
When they do, it can hit close to home, and you'll need someone that can be there for you. That's where Mishawaka Family Insurance comes in. They're building a supportive community for you. When you call for a quote, immediately you can tell that you're talking to a real person on the phone. And after a brief conversation, you can tell that they actually care about what's important to you and what you need to protect it. We all know we need to be insured, but just buying a plan online doesn't always work out when it comes time to make a claim. Take a few minutes and talk to our friends at Mishawaka Family.
Yeah, I know how the smoking age got raised. You don't need to send me a explanation of it. I know how it all went down. I covered it for you and told all of you how it went down.
You'll notice the difference. Call today at 574.
I understand all of that.
1500. That number again, 574-231-1500. Message and data rates may apply. Earning your degree from one of the top business schools in the country might sound impossible to fit into your workload. But what if there were a business degree that advanced your career skills and gave you access to world-renowned faculty, leaders, and mentors all on your schedule? One that opened doors to some of the most influential CEOs, tech companies, law firms, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. And what if you could earn that degree in as little as 16
You see that
months,
Ralph
100%
Northam had to go out there and
online,
praise
free
NRA members today
Text Drive to
because he's catching so much heat for this.
Start on the path to earning your MBA or Business Analytics Master's degree online from the
Ah,
WP School of
Alex's
Business
guess
in
is that the
Arizona
answer is
State.
always Bloomberg.
Learn more about the graduate programs from the top.
It is the Washington Post.
School of Business at Arizona State University, offered 100% online. Text Drive to 79645.
Take the test and see if it comes up Bloomberg. Let me know.
79645.
If all of you end up with Bloomberg too, we know there's shenanigans happening.
Free is the absence of pay. Free means at no charge. And free is the deal at Home Comfort Experts. Call 255-4600 for Home Comfort Experts about getting a free furnace with the purchase of an AC unit. At the same time, you'll be keeping your home cool this summer. You'll be keeping it warm right now. This winter. Call Home Comfort Experts today to get you a free furnace.
What do we got?
Comfortable and trust will make you warm and toasty right now. And with a free furnace, and at the same time install the AC unit that will make this summer the most comfortable and energy efficient ever. Come to think of it, that free furnace will be so efficient compared to your old one. Call Home Comfort Experts at 255-4600 and get your free furnace.
Technicians you can trust with your house keys. Home Comfort Experts.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. Everything was a leading question. Everything.
So what can we all do? Save money, buy and smile. For a reason. Our great farm companies found great more. You buy smart, so you do save money. Look to the future. Find out next week for RV Car Company.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your
Come
community.
on. Selena Gomez got some new ink. She released that new album.
Cool. Can help you graduate
Let's see what she got.
Do you want to stay close to friends and family? The Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving part-time in the Army National Guard lets you have
She got a tiny little word right here.
What's the word? Sponsored by the Indiana Army
Can't
National
read
Guard,
it.
aired by the Indiana Broadcasters Association and this station.
Oh, it's the title track for the album. Rare.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. There is some theories floating around about the Washington Post quiz. Since Joe and I both got Bloomberg, there are people who believe that the Post probably always has Bloomberg agreeing with you the most. Because there's a couple of questions on there that are suspiciously out of line with Bloomberg's policies, and it's saying that I agreed with them on it. So I don't know. But you take the test. I'll post the link in the Daily Show Prep. If you're on the live stream, I posted it earlier. So if you are on YouTube or Twitch, you can go ahead and click on the link, take the quiz yourself. I went through every question with you, and you'll be able to go ahead and determine if there is a conspiracy by the Washington Post to make sure that it's Bloomberg. I think somebody on Twitch got Bloomberg as well. Sounds funny. I did get a listener. They were telling me earlier on the live stream that they were at like a grocery store or something, and somebody came up to him and tried to get them to sign a petition to get Bloomberg on the Indiana ballot. Remember, he doesn't qualify for a bunch of ballots as of yet, so that's interesting. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Arizona Democrat is going to get treatment for alcohol dependence after she fell down. Representative Ann Kirkpatrick, again, Democrat from Arizona, announced yesterday that she will be taking a hiatus as she undergoes treatment for alcohol dependence. Okay. The announcement came after Kirkpatrick, 69 years old, had a serious fall, the underlying cause of which she said was her dependence on alcohol. She must undergo physical therapy for the fall and is expected to fully recover. Next week, she will begin treatment for her alcoholism. Now, first of all, I would like to say, one, I'm glad she's getting the help that she needs, because alcoholism sucks. I've seen it destroy many people's lives. So I'm hopeful that at 69 years old, she can get sober and she can live a better life. With that said, she needs to resign. Sorry, an alcoholic who has to take a hiatus away from their duties as a member of Congress should not be in Congress. So I'm not even saying that, and I know that the way that members of Congress are selected would not allow that, but yeah, honestly, she needs to step away. Okay, this is an addiction issue, and you should not have somebody who has an addiction issue in Congress. Even if they're getting treatment, I wish her the absolute best. I certainly hope that the treatment takes, and I hope that she does, in fact, get clean. The reality of the situation is, especially the older you get, is that it is harder and harder to get off of substance abuse, and I would assume that she will fall off the wagon. She should not be in Congress while she's an alcoholic and while she is undergoing treatment for that. And another thing is, it would be better for her if she were not in Congress, because now she can just focus on herself and her treatment and getting better, as opposed to also having staffers coming to her with various issues and things like that. She should not be in Congress if she is an alcoholic, period, end of story. Also, speaking of alcoholics, Ralph Northam in Virginia, he is now praising NRA members because he's catching so much heat. Casey, you don't know that he's an alcoholic. Well, I know he's a racist who dresses up in KKK costumes and blackface and stuff like that and doesn't really seem to care about it. So I don't know. Which one should I call him? All of them, I guess. Virginia Democratic Governor Ralph Northam praised NRA members for being peaceful during a press conference on Wednesday as he continued to face intense backlash over his extreme anti-freedom agenda which has included proposals to ban and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens. Remember, he also did the state of emergency thing with the fake story that nobody believes about credible threats. So that way, the Second Amendment rally that's upcoming, you can't be armed at it. I have spoken at several Second Amendment rallies where people are armed. And it's funny, I'm never nervous when I go to one of those. Not ever. Never nervous. And again, I don't believe a word of what he said to declare a state of emergency. Not at all. But I think he's using it as a way to do a power play. And so he's out there praising the NRA. Thank you so much for being peaceful. So the NRA fired back. If Virginia Governor Northam sincerely respects the efforts of the NRA and his 5 million members, he can demonstrate that respect by not infringing our rights. Bingo. So he's catching a lot of heat from this, and it's continuing to get worse. So, I'm hoping, I'm praying for sanity and clear heads here. Whether or not that's going to materialize, I don't know. I really don't know. But like I said, pay attention to Virginia. It's getting ugly, and it's getting ugly fast. So pay very close attention to it. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
So somebody got Bloomberg as number 2. Post it on Discord. Sure, I'll log into Discord and post it. God. All right, I'm putting it in the live channel. Boom, there it is.
Says sources have been telling him that while some believe he was trying to do the right thing, others believe it ultimately damaged his standing in the black community. Buttigieg has said he demoted Boykins to protect him from possible federal crimes in a tape recording scandal. Some good news for his campaign. He has
cue up my audio.
Notable endorsements from black politicians in Iowa.
I found weed here. That's the part. Yeah, but then I also got busted for weed. What? By the police. I'm going through that process right now. Went to jail, the whole goddamn thing. Right after we got done knocking doors one night in Rosendale, and me and Denver, who I'm kind of like seeing, dating, sort of, we're out knocking, get done, we're going to pick up a bag, like we're going to go get a bag of weed. Because I was like almost out. And like she went first, and then I like left, and like cop met me at the intersection. I went through, he turned and fucked me over. Then like immediately he's like, why does it smell like weed? I don't know what you're talking about. And he pulled me out of the car, searched my car, found my weed, found my grinder, found my bowl, found my keys. Oh man. Took me to jail. I was there for like 4 or 5 hours. By the time I got to make my first phone call, though, I made my first phone call to Danielle. She was like one of our, who was another person on staff. That's the Asian girl. Yeah, Asian girl. And then, and Luke answered the phone. Luke's one of the RFDs. He's the RFD for like West Des Moines area now. Luke answered. He's like, don't say another word. He's like, we already processed your bail. Just sit tight.
Don't say another word. We already processed your bail. Well. Oh, look. It's a Russian bot, everybody. Cool. Well, and to your point too, Mike, some of the questions on the Washington Post survey admit that they don't have answers from the candidate, or they don't know what the candidate's position is on those issues. So you never know. No, you can add me to your auto host. By all means, please do. Oh, you're my NHQ guy. So it's Overwatch that you play. I couldn't remember what it was that you played. Yeah, do me a favor and host. Are we friends on Twitch yet? Because I want to make sure I follow you, man. Yeah, let me log into Twitch. Let's see.
Foodies from all over are discovering the trip to Napa from Route 152 Bistro and Brewery to be well worth it. Featuring an open two-story layout.
No, we're not there, man. All right, hold on. Get logged in. I'll follow you. I can't sub right now, sorry, bud, but I'll follow you.
The taste buds in an amazing, relaxing atmosphere. Route 152 in Napa is your best choice. Visit ruhe152.com or Facebook for more information.
The Fox Business Report, powered by Home Comfort Experts, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Keep your hardworking furnace running smooth with the tune-up today. Call 255-4600.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report. The major averages closing in the green and at new record highs. Trade optimism, corporate earnings reports, and strong economic data lifting the market today. President Trump touting the country's robust economy.
They're doing phenomenally well. The economy is the best.
You got the orange hat, right? On your avatar?
Among the gainers, financials and tech, with Alphabet parent company of Google hitting $1 trillion valuation today. The Dow winners, Apple, Home Depot, and Goldman Sachs. The Dow decliners, Merck, Pfizer, and Walgreens. The Dow rising strength at 67 points. The Nasdaq up 98. S&P 500 up 20, helping the 33 bucket. And secret jewelers sparkling today on Wall Street. The shares surging and growing by more than 40% after the company.
Oh, you're talking about David Harker? Yeah, David Harker is on here sometimes too.
This is a last chance alert. It's happening in just days. Publishers Clearinghouse will award $5,000 a week forever. Enter now at PCH.com and you can win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. The $5,000 a week forever prize is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. So don't miss your last chance to win. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.
Roland got Bloomberg too.
PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Finding great candidates to
Michiana's
hire can be
news
like,
channel.
well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with
Wow.
ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality
All right, I'm
candidate
following
within the
you.
first day.
The Zoom.
Unfortunately, I can't put you in right now, sir. Topic we're going to be talking about. We call tomorrow at 4 o'clock here in Open Line. We take the call then.
AP's Washington Bureau Chief.
No
You've
problem.
been digging into Mayor Pete's fundraising for quite some time. Just let's step back to start. How unusual is what he has been able to do? Original, unbiased, the news you need as America prepares for the 2020 election. Listen and subscribe to Ground Game, free from the Westwood One Podcast Network, where the conversation starts.
Looking to get your business off to a fast start in the new year? It's go time. Switch to Comcast Business today. Get fast, reliable internet on the nation's largest gig-speed network. Automatic internet backup to keep you connected even if the power goes out. Classy security to protect all your connected devices from threats like phishing and malware.
Nice.
Streamline your business in the new year with a great deal. Get started now with 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month for 2 years.
Didn't even read the questions, just left it in the same area and clicked and got Steyer with Bloomberg coming in 7. Aha! So what you're saying is only the thinking people come up with Bloomberg. Yeah, it's a very good point, David. Very good point. Oh, man. I might bust into some of that Black Rifle coffee I got. Got my new Black Rifle shipment this week. What? What?
Got a new shipment.
Yeah. And I got 2 of my favorites. I got Blackbeard.
Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that. I do want to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company. Again, they have locations in Warsaw and South Bend. They've got a great selection of cars and trucks and SUVs and vehicles of all types. If you go to their website, rbcarcompany.com, You can take a look at today's special promotions and offers. Of course, if you go to the dealership, just let them know that you heard about them from my show, rbcarcompany.com. A couple of people not happy with me about saying that a member of Congress who is an alcoholic and is seeking treatment for alcoholism shouldn't keep their job. They're equating it to being in the workforce. First of all, I think a good employer will at least once give you the opportunity to get clean. But we're talking about employers versus public servants. And I'm sorry, public servants, that is a position that could easily be filled by somebody who is capable and there. It is, obviously the running of our country. So, yeah, we're not talking about, like the janitor or somebody who does, a somewhat menial everyday task. We're talking about a member of Congress. And if they're an alcoholic, I'm sorry, they should not be in Congress, and especially if they're seeking treatment, because it's not good for them, and it's obviously not good for the position. Look, I got in a lot of trouble for saying that Kathy Giffords should step down too. Okay? I waited some time for her to get well and to get treatment after she was shot, and it got to the point where she was not physically or mentally capable of performing the duties that she was required to perform. And the Democrats were keeping her in Congress as a symbol and as a holding place, because if she would have resigned, also from Arizona, by the way, she would have resigned, then a Republican would have replaced her, and the Democrats didn't want a Republican to replace a Democrat. So even though she could not perform her duties, and she couldn't, she was shot in the head, okay? And the horrendous rehab that happened as a result of that forbid her from being able to do her job. And while I am sympathetic to the horrible situation that she had to go through, it doesn't change the fact that she's a member of Congress and can't perform her duties. And so somebody should be there who can. But like I said, it's not a normal job. It's a public servant issue. But I appreciate where some of you are coming from. I just see them as completely different. And if you don't, that's cool. We can have a disagreement about that. Hey, there is a tortoise who has been found to be living in the Galapagos. Now, this is interesting because this particular tortoise is thought to have been extinct for a century, except they're not, which further proves how little we actually know about our planet and what is going on around us. If I have time today, I will get to some of the climate change fiasco nonsense and why it's happening over the past week. If I don't have time today, it'll definitely come up tomorrow. A living member of the species of tortoise not seen in more than 110 years and feared to be extinct has been discovered on the Galapagos Islands. An adult female, a female, also known as a Fernandina giant tortoise, was sighted by a joint expedition of the Galapagos National Park and the U.S.-based Galapagos Conservancy, which is, I guess this is all because of, or all released by Ecuador's environmental ministry. The team took the tortoise. So, hold on a second. This tortoise is supposed to have been extinct for 110 years. We find it, and instead of just being like, let's observe it and see what's going on, nope, they kidnapped it. Like that, right? So all of that talk, kids, just remember this. All of the talk on the nature shows of just photograph the wilderness and leave the wilderness in the wild, that's all a lie. Just so you know. None of them believe that. They will kidnap any animal that they can get their hands on just so they can breed it. So what is happening, they picked her up, okay? Now, she is more than 100 years old, okay? They picked her up, and they took her off to a breeding center for giant tortoises on Santa Cruz. Joe, do you know what that means? This lady who has been just laying low for 110 years, okay, has now been kidnapped and sold into sex slavery for tortoises. They've picked her up and they're putting her in a breeding center. You ever think that maybe she don't want to breed? Maybe that's why you haven't seen her in 110 years. She's just over it with the opposite sex. Maybe she's a lesbian tortoise. Who knows? So the first instinct is to pick her up and throw her in with male giant tortoises so she can have sex, which she may not even want to do. All right. But she will be staying in a specially designed pen. You know what? That's what I'm going to start calling the the so-called cages at the southern border now, specially designed pens. That's what we're going to call them. This encourages us to strengthen our search plans to find other tortoises, which will allow us to start a breeding program in captivity to recover this species. Yes, Danny Ruida, thank you very much from the Galapagos National Park for letting us know that you just want to kidnap all of these tortoises and force them to sleep with people or other tortoises that they have never met. I don't know if there's going to be any informed consent or any kind of document signed or any of that stuff. I have no idea. But here's the thing. Do you remember when they lost all of the penguins? You remember that last year? So there's this penguin. I forget which species of penguin it was for some reason. The Adelaide penguin. The Adelaide penguins have always kind of been in one spot. And what ended up happening is they went back to look at the Adelaide penguin. They were trying to track the population, and they were all gone. And so the headlines for weeks were that Adelaide penguins are all dead. They've disappeared. We can't find them anywhere. They're not in their usual spot. Something killed them. It must be global warming because apparently a fraction of a degree, which they're claiming and is disputed, by the way, a fraction of a degree of warmth in the area is what wiped them all out because I guess they couldn't take their coats off. Well, or jump in the water to cool off or anything like that. Turns out what they did is they actually moved, and they moved because it was not too warm. It was too dang cold. So they moved. They found them several miles away in a totally different spot where the food was more plentiful because it was warmer, and the food source had gone to the warmer area because it was too cold where the Adelaide penguins were. But for days, and I think a couple of weeks, we had all of these headlines about how global warming has killed off these penguins, when in fact the penguins just moved to where it was warmer because it was too cold. So we don't know what is going on. I ran into a thing here that said we discovered how many species discovered. Come on, spell, Casey. Discovered in 2019. I ran into this thing. It was like thousands of species were discovered in 2019. Okay, not thousands. All right, researchers. No, that's just California. At least 71 new species were discovered in 2019. At least 71 brand new species of aminal. So there you go. Every year this is the case. The other thing I was looking at might have been in the past decade or something like that, but hundreds of new species in the past decade have been discovered. 71 just last year. Just like brand new species we had no idea existed. And now we find an extinct tortoise that they're now selling off into sex slavery, who is just minding her own business, has been, they thought, dead for 110 years. Turns out that they're just fine. For all we know, they moved. Just like the penguins did. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Breaking news and weather station.
All right. So.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecasts. Forecast is messy as it could be snow-free during the day Saturday. Temperatures for around 30 with a burst of wet, heavy snow Friday.
Wet, heavy snow. So, how dedicated and motivated do you think the street crews are going to be to get the roads clear Saturday morning?
Not really.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that traffic is going to suck ass on Saturday. That's my prediction. If the weather predictions hold, which are unlikely.
On the radio at 95.3 FM, playing online at 953mnc.com, in the palm of your hand when you download the MNC app. On Alexa, when you tell her to download the 95.3 MNC skill.
Hello, I'm Alexa. I love 95.3 MNC.
On the Google Home Smart Speaker too.
Today's news, traffic and weather.
Anytime, everywhere. From News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
We've all been there before. Equipment malfunction can wreck your plans and shut down your office or facility. Let's be blunt, you don't have time for downtime. You need the confidence that comes with commitment to excellence found at Final Phase Electric. Let us help you from the start. Upgrade or repair your systems.
Casey, the tortoise heard from the Democrats that the Earth was going to end in 12 years, so she figured she'd spend some time bringing new baby turtles into the world.
We even provide 24-hour emergency.
Casey, I wonder what species they will breed this tortoise with that they thought it was extinct and it's the only one of its kind. That was my question too, because whatever you get is still not a full version of it, right? So, but like Adam Sandler says, quarter Jewish, not too shabby. So maybe the same applies for everything else. If you're a quarter extinct giant tortoise, not too shabby.
And help you sleep easy. Find us on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net. You want shopping online?
Oh, posted another turtle story? Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. That one, that story's like once a year they do that story, but I guess he's retiring now, right? I remember that being a story. I remember that being a story last year that he was being credited with it. They might have been announcing that he was going to retire, but yeah. Oh, I didn't know he was a Galapagos too, though. Maybe she heard that Diego was retiring, and then she's like, "It's safe to come back." She's like, "I don't have to deal with that guy anymore." She probably knows him from back in the day. She's like, "They're doing what with Diego? That guy from the block? Nah, man, I ain't going back there for that." Yeah, I left Gunship at home because Gunship is one of my favorites from Black Rifle, and I brought the Blackbeard into work.
At first it was just annoyance, but then it started affecting my daily life. My hernia was stopping me.
You're right, they didn't have any LGBT questions on the quiz. That is interesting.
A simple outpatient procedure, I was back to normal in days, not weeks. Thanks to St. Joe, I've turned time sitting out. I'm cherishing the people I love. Get back to the things you enjoy. Schedule your hernia assessment.
Well, now I have to talk about it just because they're tied together. I mean, I didn't know he was a Galapagos. Oh my God.
Full bar and restaurant. They even have daily food and drink specials and events. Wednesday is open mic night, Thursday is singles night, and every Friday is a fish fry. Please call for private events. Get your discount certificates to Go Style Brewery in New Buffalo at mydealsmichiana.com. Go Style Brewery. Find your spirit.
Your top news, traffic, and weather during Michiana's morning news first thing weekdays. Or breaking news and weather station.
All right, so I've got to talk about the other tortoise story now. I knew about it. I didn't bring it up. I remember covering this before. I wonder if they were announcing his retirement was pending or something like that, but I didn't realize he was a Galapagos. So Diego, the Galapagos giant tortoise, who is also estimated at over 100 years old, he is responsible for 40% of all tortoises on Espanola Island in the Galapagos and is officially retiring. So this is the sex god tortoise that they have been using to impregnate all of these other giant tortoises, which I assume, you have to think about it this way now. He retires, and that what was that story, last week or was it this week? Was it last week? I don't have a date on this thing. It was last week or 3 days ago it was published, okay? So 3 days ago, we learned that Diego, the Casanova tortoise who has done nothing but have massive quantities of sex and impregnate other tortoises over the past several years, he's officially retiring. And then once we find out that Diego's officially retiring, this new female giant tortoise that from a species that we thought was long dead shows up miraculously. And what do? They pick her up and they ship her off into a custom designed pen to have sex and be impregnated by somebody she probably doesn't know. Here's the thing. He's about the same age as her. What if she knows him? Okay. What if the rumor mill was out that Diego was the guy that they chose to impregnate all of these tortoises, and she's like, "Nuh-uh, not Diego. No, thank you. We got a history." And it very well could be this giant tortoise love triangle sort of a scenario that is happening. And here we are. I bet they bring him back from retirement. He's just announced to be retired 3 days ago, right? I bet they bring him back to have one last go that this poor lady who just finally learns that Diego's been retired and it's safe for her to surface out of the water and make herself known to the world in the past 110 years that her species is not dead. And the first thing they do is haul her off to be with Diego. So, yeah, that's I didn't realize that he was a Galapagos. Folks, I don't know, man. It is what it is. All right, 574-2595-95-3. That is 2595953. Kathy on the live stream wants to know how a tortoise actually retires. I just assumed you're not going to pimp him out anymore. He's not going to be forced to work in the sex brothel. So I'm sorry. The headlines write themselves, okay? It's yeah. I apologize. All right, 574-2595-95-3. That's 2595953. Speaking of aminals, though, obviously Australia is still dealing with these wildfires. They did get some rain here, which is nice. And our media is doing everything they can to inflate the fires as much as possible. And I say that with some caution because the fires have been horrible. But they have inflated them. They used graphics to make people think the entire continent is on fire. That's not the case. A whole bunch of weird stuff. But there's this place called Kangaroo Island. And you've probably heard about Kangaroo Island because Kangaroo Island has been hit really hard with these fires. And there's a lot of animals on Kangaroo Island. And they're rushing to rescue them and get them food and things of that nature and shelter and medical treatment. What didn't get covered, though, was, at least not extensively, ABC News did do an article about it on their website, was that the mayor of Kangaroo Island called Barack Obama out and said that he was wrong for blaming climate change for these fires. Now, of course, climate change is not the reason for these fires. Arson is, predominantly. And then, of course, you have your brush management and all of that stuff that we always talk about. But the mayor of Kangaroo Island went out there and basically he just admonished the former president and said, look, you're completely wrong on blaming climate change for these bushfires. What did he get? What he said? So foolish in your pronouncement. My respect for you has totally evaporated. Pathetic. That's what he said on Twitter. Barack Obama. No attention on that. Now, I'm not saying that we should be getting in the business of covering every political spat. But the news media sure did pick up on Obama's statement about all of this, and they covered that, and they put it in front of everybody's face. And here you got the mayor of the island that is on fire saying, yeah, Obama's dumb. It has nothing to do with that. You'd think that at least the American media would cover that. Well, you know, the guy that's there and kind of runs the place that's on fire right now is telling the president kind of be quiet and stay out of it. But I guess that's not the narrative that they want, so why bother going with it? All right, 574-2595-95-3. That's 2595953. A dental assistant has been fired for expressing support for Donald Trump on Facebook. And she's in Milwaukee, okay? She was fired from her job after a single person complained about a pro-Trump comment that she had posted on Facebook. Before attending a Trump rally in Milwaukee on January 14th, Robin Pollock, she posted MAGA 2020 in response to a news story about the visit. So News does a story about the president coming to town, having a big rally, which of course you would do. And she just simply posted MAGA 2020. So what ended up happening is somebody looked her up. See, this is why you don't put your employer. I have to, but for those of you who don't have to, don't put your employer in your social media profiles. It doesn't do you any good. There's no sense in doing it. If you post any personal stuff, don't put your employer in your profile. Delete it now, okay? Just save yourself some headaches. So one person looked her up on Facebook, found her employer, went to her employer's Facebook page, left a review which states, quote, employees spouting racist comments on Facebook, which of course she never did. It is a complete lie. But as a result, Precision Dental MKE responded by saying, I am so very sorry to have learned that this was posted. We are handling the situation in-house as we speak. I assure you that this office does not share those beliefs. What, that you can support the president? So she's been fired. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC FM.
And HD1 and HD3.
Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Top stories right now.
The impeachment trial gets underway. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
When the Chief Justice walked in, you could feel the weight of the moment. I saw members on both sides of the aisle visibly.
That might have been indigestion.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer after a day of very formal and rare proceedings in the U.S. Senate, including recession.
Could feel the weight of the moment when the Chief Justice walked in.
Jurors. Fox's Jared
Probably just gas.
live on Capitol Hill.
Senators have been sworn in by the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, who will preside over the impeachment trial.
He will do impartial justice according to the Constitution and laws. So help you God.
All right, let me go make some Black Rifle coffee. And I shall return, folks.
Recess arguments are expected to begin Tuesday afternoon.
Meantime, Jared, the president calls impeachment
As she should be.
dismissing the claims
Pelosi
of
blasted for
Giuliani's
souvenir pens. Yes.
who says President Trump knew everything about Giuliani's efforts to investigate the Bidens and that it was only for political gain.
I don't know honest other than I just saying pictures taken.
But President Trump says he takes pictures with thousands of people.
I don't know him at all. Don't know what he's about. Don't know where he comes from. Know nothing about him. I can only tell you this thing is a big hoax. It's a big hoax.
The president says Congress should be focusing on things like the new trade deals with China, Mexico, and Canada. Wall Street rallying to new highs again today, the Dow finishing just shy of 29,300. A change in election policy for the FBI, now pledging to inform state officials, not just locals, if electoral systems are attacked. Otherwise, state officials might certify results without knowing about problems in individual counties. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm Tom Delaney, the MNC News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, no beards, no goatees, regulated mustaches. That's been a policy for decades with the South Bend Police.
However, those rules have never been set in stone. As is common practice for law enforcement across the country, those rules are often suspended at certain times of the year so officers can grow beards for charity. South Bend Police have actually had their rules lifted since October for that reason, and it's possible they may not return. Chief Ruskowski tells WNDU the FOP has approached them with some hope the rules could be changed. He says a lot of people don't care about the beards, but some older residents don't like the look. As of now, the rules are
Gives a damn. They don't like the way you look. I don't like you with your pedo mustache either. So what?
Maybe you've noticed the big tent set up in the parking lot of the
The same people bitching about having a beard are the same people who wear socks with sandals. I don't really value their opinion.
At more than 1,000 of their stores nationwide. Workers will use the tents as cover for some of their work.
Make sure you have a little bit of water.
Yeah. I did it. Because I ran it through to make sure it was empty yesterday, so it should be good now. Should be. You don't think the way a beard looks. I don't really care. Huh? Me? Because I don't have a beard? You didn't even notice. It's been gone for like a week. All that stress, I happened to pull a nice big old patch out of it. I had to shave it just to save myself from looking even more ridiculous than I usually do. But I am super stoked that this is a story because it is perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Heavy snow Friday, Tuesday, changing ways, sloppy mess, sleet and freezing rain by early Saturday. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom.
Ooh, that Michigan lawmaker apologized to that reporter finally. Oh, so good. Did you hear about that? The Michigan lawmaker apologized for telling a young female reporter that a group of high school boys could have a lot of fun with her. Excuse me? State Senator Peter Lucido, Republican from Macomb County, issued a statement addressing the incident that occurred outside of the Senate chamber on Tuesday. Lucido referred to a group gathered nearby from an all-boys Catholic high school and told a 22-year-old reporter from Michigan Advance, "You should hang around. You could have a lot of fun with these boys, or they could have a lot of fun with you." It's like, in what context? In what context did you think you were going to be all right after saying that? It's the level of stupid. In any environment, that would be bad. You're talking to a reporter, so you know there's going to be a story about it.
Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your
friggin'
life.
moron.
After that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. The $5,000 a week forever prize is guaranteed.
Meanwhile, the Catholic boys are like, what do we do with her? Ha! That was a Catholic sexless joke.
I got it.
No, there's a couple of people on Twitch who may not have gotten it.
Finding great candidates to hire can be
I was specifically talking about the Russian bots that tried to hop onto it earlier. But yes.
technology actively finds.
I mean, the Russian bots have no direction now. They have no government. The whole government resigned. So they've got to wait for Putin to have time to tell them what to do.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the Final Phase Electric Studios. From the first step to the final phase. Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Edison Road.
Oh, come on.
Michiana's News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595. 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I would also like to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company. Again, if you head over to their website or any one of their dealerships, they've got amazing deals on cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, crossovers. I've seen some motorcycles at their dealerships before. And again, just a great place to go buy a vehicle. Go to rbcarcompany.com. rbcarcompany.com. And if you do go into the dealership, make sure you let them know that you heard about them on this show. Okay, once again, 574-2595-95.3. That's 2595953. All right, so I have to remind everybody about this. Okay, in November, okay, how long ago was November? A couple months ago? 3 months ago? 2 months ago? Okay, 2 months ago,
yeah.
All right, so November is a couple of months ago. And we have the whole story about this Ukrainian guy, which is now getting attention on Rachel Maddow's show. I don't know. Did Rachel Maddow just learn about this guy, or is she just falling trap to all of this? Because this Ukrainian story twist, which, by the way, has nothing to do with the impeachment. That's what's so funny about this. This Lev Parnas guy. He's a surprise witness. He's trying to say that all of this stuff with Ukraine and President Trump and the Zelensky call, all of it was a quid pro quo and everything else. Keep in mind that that's not even a part of impeachment anymore. The quid pro quo is not even a part of impeachment because, again, they never proved a quid pro quo, ever. Nor would there be any illegality there. It would only be for nefarious political purposes, and they were never able to prove that case, so they didn't even include it in the list of charges that were the president was impeached over. So now, I have to remind everybody that we have known about Lev Parnas and his allegations. They're not new. They're pretending that they're brand new because they were on Rachel Maddow's show this week. This is a story from early November. This isn't anything new. There's no new information. There's no bombshell. There's nothing that you shouldn't have been aware of. There is nothing that damages the president's case. Nothing. It's an old story from November. And if memory serves me correct, didn't Rush Limbaugh back at the beginning of November
say that this was going to come up again as if it were some brand new thing and they were going to try and use it around impeachment. If memory serves me correct, he did that. I don't get to listen to Rush's show much, but I remember that. So here it is. Predictions coming true. But Lev Parnas, here's the thing. The Ukrainian government had said months ago that he was a liar. So here's Rachel Maddow again. Struggling ratings. Got impeachment happening. You already had a prediction back in November of last year from Rush Limbaugh that they were going to bring this up and try and make it some smoking gun. Okay. And that's exactly what they tried to do. Everything is unfolding exactly as was predicted. And you got a bunch of people who think that this is brand new. And you have a bunch of people who are saying that this is some kind of a bombshell. This is a nail in a coffin. It's old news from November. And the Ukrainian government themselves says he's a perpetual liar. You can't believe anything that he says. So there you go. Now, of course, you got the GAO. The GAO is saying that the Trump administration violated the law when it temporarily withheld aid to the Ukraine. Of course, it didn't. We went over the laws with that, but the Government Accountability Office is suddenly, miraculously, at this very time, right as the senators, including the ones who should have recused themselves, are sworn in for the impeachment trial. All of this is designed, this is so deep state, it's stupid. All of it's designed to happen exactly at the moment of maximum impact. Not, to be fair, but just to have the maximum amount of public outrage on this stuff. The GAO is routinely incorrect about these things. They wrote an opinion, okay? It's not a fact. It's an opinion that, by the way, many others, including the OMB, say is incorrect. So the GAO, which their opinion on this, that the Trump administration illegally withheld aid from the Ukraine, doesn't jive with presidential history and executive authority at all. Not even remotely close. Like I said, we've gone over the laws when all of that was happening about being able to withhold aid. Okay, we went over all of it. And again, if that was the case, then certainly Biden would be as guilty or more guilty than the president of the United States would be on these things, and therefore should be disqualified to be running for president of the United States, right? Because he withheld $1 billion from the Ukraine that had already been allocated for Ukraine. So again, they forget these little nuances. But the OMB says that the GAO's opinion on this is wrong. There are several other legal authorities that are saying the same thing. But you know, you have to. The DOJ has basically said that this is laughable. On Monday, Democrats released notes by Lev Parnas that he claims show Rudy Giuliani ordered him to call the President Zelensky of Ukraine, tell him that aid would not be forthcoming if he did not agree to investigate the Bidens. This is, again, not a new development. It was reported in the New York Times back in November. There's no evidence of this. The Ukrainians said he was lying. We went over how many of them said he was lying. But sure enough, he's all back again. But the Ukrainians made it very clear that you couldn't trust this guy. Let's see. He was also indicted. Parnas was also indicted by Attorney General William Barr. So now he's got an axe to grind. The Department of Justice published a response saying that it was 100% false. So there's that. Earlier tonight, the Rachel Maddow Show reached out to me for comment in advance of the Lev Parnas interview. Rachel read my response on air. See below, but it's, again, it's 100% false. And as I said, the Ukrainians have made it very clear that this guy is a liar. So you can't believe anything that he says. He was condemned. Let's see. Sergei Shafir, first aide to the Ukrainian President Zelensky, revealed the Democrats' witness Lev Parnas lied about a meeting where he claimed he threatened to withhold military aid. Parnas told the New York Times last week, again, this is back in November, that he and Shafir discussed withholding $400 million in aid from Ukraine unless they investigated the Bidens. Shafir, however, doesn't remember it that way. Shafir told the Kiev Post, that the English language Ukrainian newspaper, that his meeting with Parnas and Igor Fruman was neither long nor informative. According to him, the only thing that Parnas and Fruman discussed was trying to set up a meeting between President Zelensky and Rudy Giuliani, something that they apparently didn't even take seriously. Quote, "We said that we will gladly meet with him, but only officially after the inauguration, and that there can be no meeting now. The meeting took place before we started at the job. We didn't get very deep into what their help would be, help being aid. These were general words said over a cup of tea. We didn't perceive them as representatives of the White House. Even now, I don't understand what their role was. It was a meeting of private citizens with a private citizen. So again, that's Ukrainian officials going, this Parnas guy is totally lying. But pretending that this is a new development when it's a story from, early November is what is so hysterical about all of this. And going back to November through this point now, they were never able to pull together any actual evidence that this guy was ever telling the truth. You've got a bunch of people around him who were in that meeting. You go, everything he said about that meeting is untrue. Everything. And it's funny because the Democrats who are touting Parnas, none of them have attempted to contact the Ukrainians or bring the Ukrainians in as a witness either for or against this guy. None of them. Isn't it interesting that they don't want to talk to the Ukrainians who are actually in that meeting? They want to accept his version of the meeting, but not the other people's version of the meeting who are actually in that meeting. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like the phone call, where they wanted to accept the version of the phone call that people were saying happened from people who didn't actually hear the phone call, while they rejected what the people who are actually on that phone call said happened. It's like a pattern or something. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Get my coffee.
This weekend and stop into the Prime Table for a delicious, hot, home-cooked meal before or after you go.
Now, your home comfort experts heating.
Oh, that's good.
Snow-free during the day Saturday, temperatures warm to around 30. Then a burst of wet, heavy snow Friday evening, changing to a sloppy mess. Sleet, freezing rain into early Saturday. Wintry mix Saturday, a high around 40. Then temperatures.
Remember, they recycle every allegation in every story. When it doesn't stick the first time, they'll bring it up again. And they just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you think it's new information, when in fact it's all old.
Weekday mornings with traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the 6s during Michiana's morning news. And before your drive comes to a grinding halt, get traffic alerts direct to your cell phone. Text news to 45364. Messages interruptible from the station that keeps you moving on air, online, and on your cell. From News Talk 95.3 Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station. The following is an attorney and not a paid actor. Tom Wilson of Wilson Law in Elkhart, Indiana.
The job of a personal injury attorney is, and there's a number of things we do, but I think the most important thing we can do is walk the client through from day one through the last day of the process. And certainly we're going to get the best results for them, but it's also all the stuff we do leading up to that point, helping you deal with each stage of the process. I'm not a doctor. I can't give medical opinions, and I don't give medical opinions, but I can give, hey, you know what, this is what other clients have done that has helped them. The one thing that's forgotten in the law is we're counselors. We're here to help and give advice based on not just the law, but all the things we've seen in our practice. And that's part of what I really try to do is sit down and face-to-face talk to my clients about this is what you need to do to help you through this process.
Wilson Law offices in Elkhart. No gimmicks. No catchphrases, just exceptional representation, a personal touch. For more information, text the word Wilson to 45364 today.
Don't let winter slow you down. In an all-new Jeep 4x4 from Lockman Motors, there is no such thing as a bad road. Get $500 bonus cash on new 2020 Grand Cherokee SUVs, or $500 bonus cash on all in-stock Jeep Renegades, plus an additional $1,000 bonus cash on the 2020 Chrysler Pacifica at Lock Money Motors in Elkhart. Lock Money has the largest in-stock selection of trucks and SUVs this winter, and no one has better online reviews. Lock Money has the most 5-star Google ratings and Facebook recommendations in the area. You can shop and buy 100% online with the Lock Monday Fastlane online purchase experience, or speak with one of the true professionals in person or over the phone. Lock Money Motors in Elkhart has the entire lineup of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and ProMaster vehicles ready to serve you. See it all right now at LockMonday.com. Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
Take a good look around your office. Chances are it could use an update. Maybe a new chair or desk, or a filing cabinet to get the clutter off your desk. Perhaps you just need to start over. At the Office Barn, you can make it happen with Laurel. You can replace a few items, or the Office Barn can come to your workplace and help you plan a whole new layout. The Office Barn may even take away your old desk so you don't have to. Go to the website at theofficebarn.com to see the vast selection of office furniture and various brands like Laurel. You can also visit the 30,000 square foot showroom to see all the options in person. There you'll find a large, dedicated space of Laurel products, as well as other new, scratch and dent and used furniture.
Yeah, the coffin sure has a lot of nails in it, exactly. Oh yeah, Maddow forgot to ask him about his own case. No, I did not talk about the Amish kids, but MNC did cover it in the news yesterday.
Your Mishawaka Laurel Diamond Dealer, where if we don't have it, you don't need it.
Michiana's Morning News is on Twitter. Follow us at Mish Morning News.
And tune in live for news, weather, and traffic weekday mornings 5 until 9 right here on 95.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. As Alex on the live stream on YouTube pointed out, at Casey the host, he said Maddow accidentally forgot to ask him about his own legal case. Remember, this guy's been indicted, this Parnas guy. But it's important for everybody to understand just a couple of basic things here. Remember, on the president's phone call with Zelensky, everybody who was on the phone call says there's no quid pro quo. The articles of impeachment don't even address quid pro quo. And so the Democrats refuse to accept the words of everybody who was actually on the phone call or heard the phone call. They only believe people who heard about the phone call second, third hand, okay? They're doing the same thing now. All of the people who were in that meeting with Parnas, that Parnas says proves quid pro quo, they all say he's lying and have for months. And they're ignoring all of those people. They're just focusing on what he's saying. But he's been indicted by the Department of Justice, and he's got his own case happening right now. So he's got an axe to grind. He's not exactly a good witness. So anyway, let's see. 574-25-95-95-3. South Bend Police Department heard our news covering this today. I'm so glad that this story happened today. The South Bend Police Department is taking a long, hard look at how officers look. That's a great opening sentence there. For decades, the department has banned officers from growing beards and goatees, probably because somebody who can't grow a beard or a goatee wrote the policy, and they've regulated the length of mustaches. The ban was temporarily lifted in October as a means of raising money to fight breast cancer. The rules also... What? Okay, I didn't realize that they were doing that. Why would you grow your beard and mustache in October for breast cancer when you're supposed to do that in November for men's health? Guys, only the ladies should grow a mustache or a beard in October. The guys grow the mustache and a beard in November for men's issues. You don't take a men's health issue, change the month, and do that to raise money for something else. That's not appropriate. You don't do it that way. They also continued that, though, through No Shave November, which, of course, benefits men's health. So that's a good thing. All right. So here's the thing. They're reconsidering the ban on this, and they should reconsider the ban on it because officers should be able to have a mustache or a beard or whatever. There's nothing wrong with mustaches and beards. They are phenomenal and awesome, even though I'm not wearing one right now. Although Joe didn't notice that, apparently. It's been gone for several days. He looked up at me and he said, I looked unprofessional because I have one.
I'm used to you having one, okay? I'm sorry.
I actually made a pretty good run at it this year. I not the whole year, but for a couple of months there. I think I started in beginning of November, and I actually grew it out for a little bit. For me, it's tough because I have trichotillomania, so that always factors into it. But the reason that I find this interesting, first of all, let the men grow beards. And I guess the news story says some of the people who are there, they don't like the look of it. I don't really care if you like the look of it. It's not about you. It's about everybody else. There are clearly people who look better with a beard. There are people who look better without a beard. But it all depends on the individual. If they want to wear a beard, let them wear a beard. Okay, it's their right as men to be able to wear a beard. Now, with that said, I wanted to bring up this other story in the news today. A study has been released that said that women prefer men with beards over men who are clean shaven. Actually, I think that this might be a Freudian headline. Study: women like men with beards over guys who are clean shaven. Does that not seem like a Freudian slip or what? Anyway, a new study is a big win for guys with facial hair. According to the Daily Star, a study by the University of Queensland, which polled 919 women, showed most women found guys with beards more attractive than those without them. Naturally, this is a big day for guys like myself who have been rocking different kinds of facial hair for years, according to David Hookstead. All right, so here's the thing. Obviously, everybody's individual tastes are different, but they demonize beards every year with this whole "your beard is dirtier than a purse or a toilet seat." They do that. It's been debunked for many, many years, and I still see people post this crap every single year. There is a movement to get rid of facial hair. There's a large chunk of the population who doesn't like facial hair because they are, they're latte sipping individuals. That's just who they are. And nothing wrong with sipping a latte, but you just got to mind your own stupid business. So they go out there, they demonize beards, they lie about how dirty a beard is. It's not true. Again, that whole thing has been debunked for many years, but every year that article gets recycled conveniently right before No Shave November, where people are trying to raise money for charity because it's an assault on men is what it is. I notice personally that I do get attention from ladies when I have a beard. I get no attention from the ladies when I don't have a beard anymore. I'm not attractive anymore. I used to be extremely attractive, radiant, you might say. No longer. But when I grow a beard, I do tend to get attention. I don't know why that is. It's probably, you could say that this is probably something that exists in certain areas of the country. For example, if you're in a big metropolitan area, you may be less likely to find women who appreciate a beard. Whereas in a place like Indiana or Michigan, you might be more likely to find women who would appreciate a beard. Different cultures, different standards, and that sort of thing, all entirely possible. But all I'm saying is we're hearing that the South Bend Police Department says that they're rethinking the beard policy the same day that the study comes out that says that women find beards more attractive. I mean, that is a miraculous coinkydink, don't you think, Joe? Miraculous. You know who's got a pretty nice beard, though, is the police chief. I'll just says Chief Ruskowski can grow a great beard. So I'm sure that there's a part of that of him looking in the mirror and going, you know what? I don't want to get rid of this. It wouldn't be right for me to get rid of this beard. So he just wants to keep it. But yeah, so it's such a stupid fight to have. Like, why is it that women get to fight for the right to be able to have their body hair, which is totally fine. Fight for your right to have your body hair. If you want your body hair, by all means, do your body hair thing. Braid your mustache, ladies, braid your beards, whatever. But guys can't fight for their right for facial hair. Do you know how many times I've been asked over my career, hey, you're going to do TV today. Can you shave? No, I don't want to. I don't want to shave. Okay? And the thing is that I think it's a conspiracy, Joe. Because hold on a second. Hold on. There's that period where you're growing your beard where it's really weird and patchy. For me, anyway. Because I don't have the epic Greek beard thing.
Neither do I.
So there's that period where it's like, it's a little patchy for a couple of weeks. And they always do the television interviews where I have to shave right during that patch where I can't even say, no, I'll brush it. It'll look great. So at that point, they're going to put me on TV with a weird patchy beard.
I think, Casey, that's just coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence multiple times every single year.
Correlation does not equal causation.
But how much correlation do you have to have before all of a sudden it's not a coinkydink, though?
A lot.
So multiple years in a row, you're saying?
No, a lot. Like decades in a row.
Yeah, so comment on the live streams like the no beards rule is usually because they don't think that you can look professional. Some guys can't keep them neat. I don't think that's the case. First of all, I think that if you look back at our culture, you look back like going back to the late 1800s when everybody had a beard. Of course, it was considered a health thing back then. The beard was a filter, it was a HEPA filter for your mouth. in your nose. I'm not making this up. That's real.
No, yeah,
that's a
you're
real
right.
thing. They used it as a HEPA filter. They believed that if you had a good beard, it would filter out all of those pollutants going into your body, and you would be able to be more healthy. Of course, we know that is generally not true. Although a beard will catch some, it's not what it's there for. So if you look back then, even then, like when you let it naturally grow out, I don't know, it looks fine to me. Now, there are people who make their beard look amazing and epic, and they take care of it. But I also think that the knowledge of caring for a beard and the products for beard care, they're now mainstream, whereas 10, 20 years ago, they were hard to find. Nobody really knew what to do. Now, it's a $10 pack at any store to be able to brush your beard and make it look somewhat decent. So I don't know that I buy into that. I honestly think that it's a policy perpetrated by people who can't grow a beard and they're jealous. That's what I think. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're calling about what, sir? Oh, are you calling about the beard issue?
Buttigieg has struggled to connect with black voters, and there is some concern now that his decision to demote former South Bend Police Chief Daryl Boykins back in 2012 could be a problem.
Okay, I'll try to get you on there, sir.
While some believe he was trying to do the right thing, others believe it ultimately damaged his standing in the black community. Buttigieg has even demoted Boykins to protect him from possible federal crimes in a tape recording scandal. Some good news for his campaign.
Is his brother Daryl and his other brother Daryl on the line too?
No, but he does have a brother named Daryl.
No. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Who is it? Your dad?
Yeah. That's not his real name. I recognized his number.
So that's not his real name.
No.
So you just happened to pick something which I brought an
No,
old
that's the
Bob Hart joke out of?
He said that's what he went. I'm Larry from the past. Okay.
That dude.
I'm not gonna not be right. Okay.
That is Bob Newhart, not Bob Hart. Bob Newhart. I mean, that show, Newhart. God, when did that air? 1982 to 1990. I mean, I grew up on that show. And every episode, I'm Larry, this is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. That's all it was, and everybody laughed every damn time they did it. So that's, I mean, I pulled up a friggin' joke from when I was 3 years old.
In the past, the Bureau alerted local governments of that election breaches without automatically sharing that information with the state.
Yeah, Marine Corps, they tend to not allow them. I mean, you're only allowed to really have them in certain units in the military anyway, and they're looking at rethinking that, which I think is a good idea. So. See, B-dubs gets more attention from the ladies. Like, it's noticeably different when I have facial hair with the ladies. So, and I don't, again, it is what it is. But it is a noticeable difference in how I am treated. Number 8 column. There you go.
This is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending higher with record closes for the Dow and S&P 500, and the Dow making history today and closing above the 29,000 mark for the first time ever following the signing of an initial trade pact between the U.S. and China. President Trump's economic advisor Larry Kudlow tells Fox Business the president believes the hard part is...
Yeah, the gas mask is an issue, without a doubt. But again, it's, certain units have to do it for various reasons. Obviously, tier 1 guys can grow them out because it helps with the tribal leaders. Casey, your story about the turtles in Galapagos made me think of something that I recently read about the Glacier National Park. I mean, the story that I did last week. Yes, about the signs and global warming. Do I? By the way, the CBD liquid that I am using in this, it is all natural CBD. So I actually am using their CBD. And I got the copper because it's copper. They had a couple of really cool looking ones, but I love my copper. So.
Conference championship week is here. 4 teams, 2 games, so little time left in the season. So don't miss out. Get in on all.
And I just got to figure out how many puffs I actually need for the type of paint I'm dealing with.
Any star player to score the first touchdown of the game with 10-1 odds.
And then we'll talk to Daryl and his brother Larry.
DraftKings Sportsbook is offering their best sign-up offer today, right now. You won't want to miss this.
Oh, I meant to ask them about the dog biscuits. I didn't see the dog biscuits on there. So now I get to make a Kydex holster for vaping devices. Yeah, buddy. Kydex everything, Joe.
2 minutes.
Was that?
2 minutes.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Alex, ASD and Boomstick Holsters has a rule. If you stab or shoot somebody with one of our things, you've got to film it and then send it to us as promotional material. So, if you end up drawing on somebody and shooting them with that holster, we need video and pictures.
You're platinum and diamonds. You may not realize it, but gold and silver are at a 5-year high. So now is a great time to look through your dress drawers. Your things to pass on someday to your children. Because shocking as it may seem to you, they really
Nah, nobody uses chemical weapons. What are you talking about?
or silver to wear or use. And with the money you will receive from your gold, silver, platinum, and diamonds, you can go on a cruise, take a mini vacation, or put the money in a bank to save for something special. So why not bring your unworn jewelry, unused items to H&H Gold Buyers and leave with cash in your pocket to spend?
Ooh, somebody's talking about going zip lining in Belize. I saw a documentary about that. I will never zip line in Belize. They don't maintain their zip lines very well, and there's lots of accidents in Belize. Yeah, no, won't be catching me on that one.
Now you can add another decision to that.
There'll be video, and we'll get the exclusive. Awesome. Make sure you stand in a way that highlights the holster. And those beautiful red screws that I threw in there. I dig those screws. That was the first holster I put those screws on, but I really dig those.
Shop local, save local. Check out mydealsmichiana.com for incredible offers in your area. Let the good times roll with these amazing deals from Chippewa Bowl. Get out of the world with late night blacklight cosmic bowling. Buy one cosmic bowling pass and get one free. A savings of 50%. Or throw a bowling party with the classic pizza pop and pins combo for just $35. A savings of over 40%. You can be part.
Final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Got to talk to you about all natural CBD lotion. And again, Naturals CBD products are amazing. If you go to their website, allnaturalcbd.org, you can take a look at the entire line. They've got products for your body, like the lotion. They got bath bombs, of course, gummies, and even dog biscuits and wellness shots. But they've also got vaping devices and CBD liquids as well. In fact, I just went to eSigWorks today, and I picked up some all-natural CBD vape liquid and a vaping device for some pain that I'm dealing with, just to see if it works. I've never used the vaping device for it, but I can tell you conclusively that the lotion works extremely well. Again, up to 500 milligrams of full-spectrum CBD. It is a lotion, so it's your skin, and it is a larger bottle for a fraction of the cost of the nearest competitor, and the product just works for minor aches and pains, whether you have fibromyalgia, whether you're working out, just have sore muscles, you just get weird pains every now and then, or if you just want to have it around for its calming effects. Go to allnaturalcbd.org. Again, use promo code KC10 to save 10%. You can also use that promo code at any local eSigWorks location. You can get lavender or unscented. It's entirely up to you. Again, allnaturalcbd.org, promo code KC10. All right, back to the phone lines we go. Larry, welcome to the program.
Hey, let's spin on this. I got a theory on this beard controversy.
Okay.
Yeah, what it is a big shave cream company want to take over and force you to shave.
It's Big Foam?
Cream, big business. Yeah.
We've got Big Foam is doing Big Gel now, too. He's got the
and
gel.
I'll tell you who's behind it all.
Hmm.
I'll tell you who's behind it all, Nancy Pelosi. If she can't have a beard, my gosh, nobody can have a beard. She has to shave hers. Everybody has to have one.
Oh, my God, Larry. All right, get out of here, man. I appreciate the call.
And that argument makes such sense.
There you go.
As what they're making a big deal about in D.C.
I hear you. All right, appreciate the call, bud. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
All right, take care. I didn't think that skeletons could grow beards, though. I think that's why Nancy Pelosi struggles so much. She is Skeletor, after all. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. God. Oh, yeah, the USMCA was passed. Okay, so that happened today. That's also big news. So the China thing happened. They just passed that as well. All of this, of course, while the impeachment fiasco is going on. Michael Flynn has moved to withdraw his guilty plea. His lawyers have evidence. Remember the accusation came up a while ago that he was being asked to lie under oath? Well, his lawyers now have evidence that he was being poked and prodded to lie under oath, and that's when he refused, and ultimately the plea arrangement that he had for cooperating fell apart. So he has moved to withdraw his plea agreement, which we told you months ago was likely going to be the strategy. So pretty interesting to see how this stuff is going to happen. But you know, the impeachment thing, people are trying to ask me for predictions and stuff like that. I don't know. I think that the timeline of less than 3 weeks this thing will be done is probably a reasonable timeline to expect. There were senators who were saying that there's enough evidence of malpractice in the House for us to dismiss this right away. I don't know that that is going to happen. I've told you before, I probably think it's better to play it out a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to have the political argument of, oh, just the partisans dismiss this without even giving it any serious thought. They're already trying to set themselves up to make that case now anyway. But I would say about 3 weeks or so seems like a reasonable time for this thing to be dismissed out. But we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I should have said tell Daryl I said hi. And also Daryl.
KC Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
The thing is like when Michael Flynn gets cleared of all of this, dude, he is gonna sue everybody. It's gonna be like Nick Salmon all over again.
Sunday's high 16 and a chance of late effect snow showers. Same goes for Monday with a high of 18 and a chance of late effect snow, getting back to 25 by Tuesday. In the ABC 57 First Morning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Food.
The top news stories.
If you come after us again, we're coming after you again. You better be concerned about it.
Alex already posted a meme that Pelosi is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club on Discord.
Hey guys, nice to be here with another impeachment video. But first, a word from our sponsor, Dollar Shave.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
I've been a painter all my life. I think it's just in my blood. My grandpa was a painter. My great-great-grandfather, when he came across the ocean, listed himself as a painter. And then my dad, he's been a painter for a lot of his life. And now I'm a painter. I love to paint. I really do. People are not a big fan of having their house work for a long period of time. That's where I think we come in, and we have a large
charge approved. So a bedroom or a great room is not taking us 3 days. We may be in and out in 1 day because we have that larger. We have that ability to get in and out. People don't, like I said, want to tour up for a long time.
Oh, man.
It is all about cleaning too. I mean, a lot of people in the spring and in the fall, people are wanting to repaint great rooms and bedrooms and bathrooms and just spruce it up and look good.
Arrest warrant issued for Odell Beckham after allegedly spanking a police officer.
0171 or CrispinCustomPainting.com. If I put my name on the job.
Police have issued an arrest warrant for former LSU star and current Cleveland Brown Odell Beckham after he allegedly slapped a police officer on the butt in the LSU locker room on Monday night.
New wheels and suspension, and they even changed out a light bulb or two. So the inside is running great.
Wow.
Why not make the outside look just as flawless? Hartwood Auto Spa on Edison Road in Mishawaka and Ireland Road in South Bend can make sure your ride looks pristine and
The police had initially sought a misdemeanor sexual battery charge against the Browns receiver, but that was denied by a judge. The police then changed the charge to simple battery, which was approved.
plenty to go around.
In a football locker room.
Hey, man, these new finna go to jail, y'all. Hey, what about the no!
Drive-through for automatic washing. Get on your way.
Anyway.
He did it in an antagonizing fashion. Oh, boy. But that's when they were going in there and pitching a fit about the cigars. Threatening to arrest people for the cigars.
Tips and entertainment that can help enhance your home. If you have questions, email them to questions@m2show.com. It's Measure Twice, Saturday morning at 10. News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel. Your breaking news and weather.
Hey, why don't you mess it up a little bit?
Today's news. Traffic on 95.
If we didn't have it messed up, would it really be your show, Casey?
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. So tomorrow we are going to talk about the federal government finally investigating Representative Ilhan Omar, including ICE. Remember, she's been accused of immigration fraud. So Ilhan Omar is finally being investigated by certain federal agencies. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the program. Remind me to record that before we get out of here. We Build the Wall, Inc. has constructed the first ever border wall on the Rio Grande. I'm looking at pictures of it, and it's actually pretty. It looks metal in these pictures. I mean, you know what I mean? That not like I know it's metal, but I mean, it looks like it's like a sheet of like metal. Anyway, after months of long legal battles with the International Boundary and Water Commission, the United Nations type globalist agency, yada, yada, yada. Let's see. We Build the Wall. We'll continue building a section of President Trump's border wall. Fisher Industries and WBW, crowdfunded organization, founded the triple amputee veteran Brian Kolfage. So anyway, I'm looking at the pictures of it. They just gave you way too much history here. On it. But yeah, it's actually, so you swim across the Rio Grande and boom, you run into a wall now. So if you are lucky enough to survive the swim, and many people do not, you'll now have to scale this new wall that has been erected right here at the Rio Grande. So again, pretty interesting. Remember the president and his cabinet, they celebrated 100 miles of border wall that has just been finished, but so this is a new section of the wall that's being built. Ladies and gentlemen, I will point blank apologize. Brian Kolfage is doing what he said he was going to do, and initially it didn't look like he was, but now he is, and without a doubt, they are making progress. There's 3 big sections that they have completed, in spite of all of the battles that they have had to deal with in getting it done. They have been successful in erecting portions of this wall. And you have to give credit where credit is due, that they're taking care of it. So good for them. And like I said, it's one of those things where people are very skeptical. They wondered where the money was going, hadn't heard anything, and the secrecy was questionable. But They are without a doubt building sections of wall. It's time for Bill O'Reilly and the O'Reilly Update. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, none of them knew who Adam Schiff was on Jeopardy.
Nancy Pelosi unveils her impeachment prosecutors. The U.S. and China reach a trade agreement. Border agents prepare for another migrant.
All right. Got a couple of minutes to hang out today. If y'all have any questions or comments or anything like that. And Alex, again, super stoked that you enjoy the holster. You've certainly earned it with all that you do. So enjoy it and show it off to everybody, by all means. All right, any questions, any comments, or anything like that before we bounce out of here? Whew. Man, it's been a long day. I do appear to have my 3D printer up and running, my big one anyway. My small one is still giving me issues. Have I recorded any new Measure Twice shows? It's been a week or two since I've been able to listen to it. All right, so I have officially stepped down from Measure Twice. Last week was the first week that Carl Stutzman took over, and he will be recording with them tomorrow. I have to get him the login information to upload the episode to Audioboom. And I'm going to have to chat with corporate because I think they might want to bring Measure Twice into the company's podcast feed as opposed to keep uploading it to Audioboom. So we'll see, but I will get him the information. He should be uploading it, hopefully soon. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. It's always nice to be able to head over to WoWo and do some stuff every now and then. So that's pretty cool to do that. Of course, love Pat, love the people over there. And like I said, just, it's fun doing stuff over at WoWo. But, obviously I'm in this market, so. But I do appreciate you listening and stopping in. Thank you so much. But yeah, Carl Stutzman's going to do Measure Twice going forward. Just some family stuff that happens is not going to allow me to do it on Fridays. So yeah, I think we had a great dynamic. I get along with them. They're personal friends anyway. So, I love Joel and Chris and their families. So it's nice doing a show with your friends. But at the same time, stuff that's been happening is not going to make it possible for me to do it and record it every Friday morning. So I got to, make sure that I'm available for some other things. And Carl's probably a better fit for the show than I am, just because Carl has a contracting background. So he can talk to a lot of these things a little bit better than I can. So I think that'll help them out as well. But yeah, it does. It sucks just because, they're friends and I enjoy being with them and I won't be able to be with them as much. But at the same time, I'm leaving them in very good hands. So. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. You have safe travels as well.
This is why you there's no insurance or bank protects your home.
Well, thank you, Douglas. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Making your drive a little bit easier. That means a lot. No more Catherine the Great furniture jokes. No. Holy hell, did I get in trouble for that? Oh my God. I got in so much trouble for the Catherine the Great jokes. But it was a real thing, and we were talking about a real thing, and Chris is the one that brought up the friggin' the giant, I think it was a lamp or no, it wasn't a lamp, it was a chandelier that looked like a giant phallus. So I was like, well, you've heard of the Catherine the Great furniture, right? And they both said, no, I can't let that go. They started it. But yeah, so I'm hoping that their podcast gets pulled into the Federated Media feed, which I think will help them. And then at the same time, Carl's going to be great for him. He said he's got a contracting background. He can talk, so it's all going to be good. I'm leaving them in good hands. But the Catherine the Great show, God, that was funny. That was funny. Joe has no idea what we're talking about. That's okay. Not at work, Joe. But sometime in your spare time, look up Catherine the Great's furniture. She had a lot of custom furniture made. Not at work, Joe. In your spare time. So, just wanted to make sure. How many years will it take to update the promo for Measure Twice? LOL. So the thing with that promo is we don't have time to come in and record it. And we didn't pre-plan the shows. So we weren't doing that. But DPIG, I don't know what DPIG means.
DP.
Huh?
DP?
DPIG? Diffuse intrinsic protein glioma.
Glaucoma?
I don't know. It's a thing with St. Jude Hospital, but I don't know. I don't know what that means. But the Catherine the Great was known for commissioning custom furniture, and it was very X-rated in nature. She is what we like to call a hura. She was known for being very promiscuous, which there's nothing wrong with that. It did. It took a long time for them to put my name in it. You're right. You're right about that. Well, hopefully Carl will be able to handle that a lot quicker. All right, we ready?
No.
No, we're still not ready. Do. That is a purple sky. Is that real?
Possibility. Okay.
We good?
Record.
Daniel's like, oh my. Yeah, if you look it up, you're gonna get an education. That's for sure. Don't let the kids see it. Casey Hendrickson here. Federal agencies are actually investigating Representative Ilhan Omar. We'll tell you what's going on Friday, 3 to 6 on 95.3 MNC. Do. All right, couple more minutes, folks. Does Alex cut out pretty early in the 5 o'clock hour? No, he was there at 5:41. Probably his work schedule. Do. Don't forget, subscribe to YouTube channel. Follow or subscribe on Twitch. Follow me on Facebook at Casey the Host. My new Instagram, which is dedicated to the show, at Casey the Host on Instagram. And on Twitter at RealCaseyH. So follow me on all of those platforms. And then if you want the podcast, I've had a lot of people calling the front desk asking about show prep and podcasts. TheBurningTruth.us is my website. They all feed over there. But if you just want to follow my podcast and put it on an app in your phone, that's the easiest way to follow it. You get notifications when it's uploaded, is to go ahead and go to Podbean. So it's caseythehost.podbean.com. If you just go to podbean.com, just go ahead and search my name. It'll come up. And then you can download the app, which is a phenomenal app anyway. Make sure you create an account, follow my podcast on there, and then when I upload a new episode, you'll get a notification on your phone that one's available. Oh, you're getting ready for work as I'm going off. Oh, okay. Night off, though. Thank you, Frank. Do appreciate it. All right, cool. Well, Alex, thank you for everything you do. You said you deserve that and more. I appreciate it. You don't have to do any of the stuff that you do, and I know that you do that on your own. So I wanted to say thank you just some little way that I could. So I appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all tomorrow. And I'm going to try and be on Discord a little bit today. And hopefully we'll see what happens. I feel like I'm going to be pretty busy when I get home. But we'll see. I'm going to do my best to hop on Discord